Alright, looks like we are live again, and for those of you that were here before to watch me play through Chapter 4, as you might already know, we ended up killing off Marianne. Sorry we couldn't let her live because this playthrough is, as you might know already, well, I'm killing everybody off this time. Or at least as many people as I can. So, let's get back into it. I'm actually going to go and load from the beginning of this, so, or rather this probably is what? Skipping through this. Yeah, that was Marianne's death, and now we're on to Rebecca. Chapter 5. Oh, shit. Got to turn off the skip. Stay. Skip. Now, turn off the skip. Now onto Rebecca. This is how it begins, or so they say. With the gentle wind drifting through wide-open windows, muffled laughter and footsteps fading behind empty hallways, and the light kiss of the afternoon sun. Soon, there will be a calling, a crossing of thresholds into the unknown. Maybe we are off to some grand adventure, or diving into another gripping mystery. One can't really tell. For all I know, a hero might even come sweep me off my feet if I'm lucky.
That's not exactly a bad thing when you think about it.
But this is far from one, isn't it? A riveting tale, that is. The mild breeze, the faint murmurs, the warm rays painting every nook and cranny a fiery hue. They are all as real as they can get. As much as I want to write a little tale out of this, I am far from someone who can. Fleeting fancies, that's what these are. Merely passing thoughts to occupy an idle mind while waiting for another busy workday to end. Then again, maybe in another life I am one, who knows. But at present, what I have said and what I've chosen to be, well...
I won't last years here if I find teaching rowdy adolescents a tedious job, will I?
Admittedly, the whole affair isn't exactly as grand or exciting as I had imagined as a child. If I weren't so stubborn and too passionate about the whole idea, I probably would have quit a long time ago. But it's always the kids that make it worthwhile, isn't it? As if in agreement, as soon as my pen slides into a neat circle against the papers I'm grading, the final bell rings. Like a dam that is open, students begin piling out into the hallway soon after. Alright, so... October 28th. That was when Marianne ended up killing herself. And now it looks like we are back to October 21st. Rebecca Gales. 5'5", 29 years old, history teacher. For a short minute, I let the noise fill my ears, let my mind wander to a place far removed from all the hubbub. Solitary moments like this have come far and few between lately. Even my own home hasn't been as quiet as I usually prefer. Though, in hindsight, this entire place hasn't been the same either since Isabella moved in next door. And if her fussing over a minor cold last week tells anything, I might as well throw any idea of solitude out the nearest balcony so long as she lives nearby. At the memory, my eyes automatically shift over the bottle sitting at the edge of my desk. A chuckle escapes from me as I reach for
A
it.
little ball of energy and enthusiasm. That big baby.
Mother Hen, she calls me, and then says and does the same thing right after. It's not that I'm unused to being on the receiving end of other people's worries, or I feel any sort of apprehension over her fretting. If I am to be completely honest, it's actually amusing how someone can be childlike one minute, then act like a responsible adult the next. But there's a dissonance there, both in her actions and words. Although she may not look like it, may not say anything, may not lose her chair, one way or another, I know these troubles have weighed down on her lately. Her face says it all, that big numpty. If she thinks I won't notice, she's got another thing coming for her. That's how she's always been. I do understand that part loud and clear, it's just that I'd really rather not pass another burden on to her.
Or become one myself.
Aren't I supposed to be the one taking care of them? Though I guess that's simply one of those things people eventually grow away from, once you've all started leading different lives. Dots. Not completely different, I hope. Somehow, that thought makes me feel uneasy. Thankfully, before stranger ideas can take root in my head, a faint buzzing comes from my bag, cutting through the rest of my thoughts. A small frown forms on my lips when the screen lights up, and an unknown number flashes. For a long second, my thumb hovers over the answer button. Even the voice that responds once I do accept the call is wholly unfamiliar.
Hello?
Oh, goodness. Finally, it connects.
And this is Rose.
Hello? Is this Miss Gales? Rebecca Gales?
Yes, speaking. Who is this?
Oh, sorry. Rose Cooper. Briar Realty Corporation.
Briar Realty?
My frown deepens as I straighten from my chair. Something in her tone, despite sounding remarkably friendly and light, doesn't sit quite well with me. The rigid pause that follows doesn't help ease the tension that has already suddenly descended either.
Miss Cooper?
Yes. Things are a bit busy on my end. I apologize. I'm not certain if Isabella has mentioned anything before, but we're working together on a property at the moment, and
The Armengard Mansion, yes. She said something about that earlier. Is there a problem?
this is about Isabella, actually.
She wastes no time relaying everything. The details she provided are admittedly a bit vague, but enough for me to get a gist of what happened. It isn't the bad sort I'm expecting, though still worrying, especially with words panic attack and pale looking a bit sickly, woven together in one foreboding sentence. But as quickly as it surfaces, I stomp down on the urge to demand answers right there and then. Now isn't the proper time for useless questions. I'll find out soon enough, regardless. To Miss Cooper's credit, she neither hesitates nor falters all throughout. There's some sort of comfort in knowing Isabella has someone like her to guide her, though. Not as much as I would have liked. After all, this is Isabella we're talking about. What are the chances she just said a bunch of excuses so she won't get sent home? High. Very high. Dots. Oh, she is so going to
You
hear
were
it this time.
listed as one of her emergency contacts, so I thought it'd be best you know about this.
How is she? Is she doing okay?
I had her take a break for now, but honestly, I'd feel better if someone were to pick her up and take her home for some rest. Anthem's a fair distance from Luxbourne. I really might do it myself, but you know how it is today. Big day. People everywhere until the open house ends. I'm really sorry to ask this of you, Miss Gales. I know you're busy.
Oh, no, it's all good. I was just about to leave from work. I hope to leave early today anyway. A few minutes ahead wouldn't hurt. I can be there in a few, 30, 40 minutes tops. Is that all right?
More than fine, Miss Gales, thank you. We're supposed to be here until... Oh, excuse me. One moment, please. Yes, ma'am.
The faint hum of conversation echoes from her end. It sounds as though the place is buzzing with more people than you'll expect from a regular open house. I was skeptical at first, though the house is old, not to mention its inconvenient location in Luxbourne's outskirts. Who wants to live in a place almost an hour's drive away from the comforts of a city? But from what little I can hear, it appears Isabella has every right to be optimistic about this sale. If I didn't understand why she was so adamant refusing the offer of help before, I think I'd do now. To some degree.
We'll be resuming the tour soon. Yes, thank you. Sorry about that. I really need to get this thing going. Lord knows how I'll salvage the situation here. It shouldn't be anything complicated, but still, clients. It can be difficult when they want to be. Anyway, just look for me when you get here, alright? I shouldn't be too hard to miss.
No problem. Thanks for letting me know about this. Just make sure Isabella stays put, please. Heaven knows how stubborn that girl can be.
Oh, believe me, I know. Don't worry about it. I'll have a few of our staff keep an eye on her for me until you get here.
That's all I'm asking. I appreciate it.
The whole thing ends on a surprisingly pleasant note. If only the same can be said for the news she brought. I allow a brief minute to pass to ease whatever tension has latched itself firmly to my nerves. But no matter how much I wish for it, my mind stubbornly refuses to do so. My hands are unsteady against the papers I pretend to arrange after. Lucid thoughts, every single ounce of it grimmer than the other group. Gross with each passing second I linger. Something about this whole thing, along with a sudden unease and nagging worry, screams off. Wrong. This isn't the riveting tale I've hoped to step into today. Even on a rush, getting everything in order before leaving takes nearly a good quarter hour. By the time I make it out of the classroom, the commotion has already died down, dwindling to mere echoes and distant laughters. From the nearby room, melodies from a rehearsing band drift freely into the air, filling the almost empty hallway with their warm, lively tunes. Any other day I'll stop, bask in the music, and enjoy what little peace it brings. Not today, however. My steps are brisk and sure as I march towards Hall's exit. The sooner I confirm Isabella's okay, the sooner I can shake off this niggling feeling. For one reason or another, that single call of all possible things has thrown everything off kilter. I'd rather this be over with as quickly as possible. So much that I nearly barrel over a student in my haste. Though perhaps it's really the other way around. When I look down, a set of eyes, bright and hopeful, stare back at me. Her arms are wrapped around my waist like a vise, and at my attention a grin spreads over her face. Buenas tardes, Miss Pink, and we have voices missing.
Hello, Kylie. You know, you aren't supposed to run into people like that.
She loosens her hold on me, but not a hint of guilt or regret appears on her. If anything, it seems the remark only amused her. A smile appears on my face before I can help it, matching the one on her own.
Just remember not to do it again, all right? You could get hurt.
You sound like my mama when she's scolding Rowan, Miss Pink.
I'm sure your mama only means well. I know she'll be worried sick if one of you were to get hurt. Where's your brother anyway? Aren't you two supposed to be heading home now?
Rowan said he's got some stuff he needs to do before we go. I think he's taking too long. But he promised to buy me jelly babies today, if I keep what he's doing a secret from Mama and Papa.
Any chance you'll tell Miss Pink about it?
She shakes her head, both her hands going to her mouth as to keep a precious secret from spilling out.
I made a promise.
Oh, you did?
He said it's for Tia Luke.
Oh, something like a gift?
Like a deal. Tio promised to take him somewhere cool when he's old enough. Rowan's gonna prove he's a grown-up.
Laughter slips free from my lips. The teacher in me wants to give whoever this Tio is a reprimand for bringing about this kind of behavior in children. But if both Suarez kids are so fond of him, there shouldn't be anything to worry about, yes? At any rate, they're nothing but well-behaved, both Kylie and her brother. Rowan, the eldest, may have an occasional odd streak in and out of class, but their parents have taught them well. I see no reason to cast any suspicion of bad behavior on them.
As long as it isn't anything dangerous, all right?
It's not. Cross my heart. My drawings are a lot prettier than what he's doing anyway. Tio said so. Do you want to see? I drew one earlier at class.
Is that why you're here?
Not really. I was gonna show it to my friend first. But since it's you, I'm sure she wouldn't mind if you see it before she does.
Oh no. I can't stay right now, Kylie.
Her face falls immediately after the words are out. A small part of me feels responsible for that crestfallen look, but as much as I want to stay a little longer, there's another place I need to be at right now. And frankly, another child to look after. Taking both of her hands, I kneel in front of her and muster the most rueful smile I can give. At her age, I'm quite sure she already understands what I'm about to say before they're even out. But remarkably, she doesn't look away or pout as I'm expecting her to.
I'm sorry. You know what? Rowan has a class with me on Monday around this time. Why don't you drop by again next week? After class? I'll even make sure to wait for you. It's just that I absolutely must leave now. My friend had an accident earlier, and I'm the only one she has here.
What about her mama and papa?
Her family lives really far from here, I'm afraid. Do you remember where Asia is? The southeast part? That's where they are.
Her eyes immediately light up at my question. Just like that, I know I've earned the girl's forgiveness.
Oh, just like Takako.
Who?
My friend. She said she used to live there, only just a little higher than southeast. But she hasn't come home in a long time, so she doesn't remember much about it anymore. Melody says it's weird I talked to her, but I think she's just shy. They could be good friends too. Don't you think so, Miss Pink?
Maybe if you introduce them properly, they will be.
That's what I think. Takako's just lonely. If she makes more friends, she won't be anymore. Is your friend like that too?
A little, possibly. To be honest, sometimes I can't tell with her.
After all, Isabella has always been the kind to hold a smile, even when things have taken a turn for the worse. 5 years and one will think it's enough time to know a person. But when you consider it, come to think of it, all these years, I have never, not once, seen her cry. Not over a trivial matter or even when things are tough.
Okay, you can go to her. I'll just show you my drawing next time.
Thank you. Remind me to buy you a huge glass of parfait, all right?
No, I'll get a stomachache. Takako says so. A
Dots.
small one is okay.
I'll remember that. Say hi to your friend for me.
I will. I'm sure she'd love to meet you too. See you, Miss Pink.
I'll see you later, Kylie.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down.
London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. Creepy. She doesn't look back or wait for any sort of goodbye from me. And we have a journal entry. 21st. Rebecca Gales received a phone call from Rose Cooper after class asking her to pick up Isabel Santos from the Ermengarde Mansion on her way out of school, and excited Kylie Suarez stops her favorite teacher from leaving. Alright, let's take a look at this branching tree here. I already got through the top part. Basically, I gotta figure out which ending that I need to get here. The first time I played through, if you weren't watching my stream before, I played through this already once, and I somehow managed to get all the characters good endings. All the chapters good endings up until the end. Nobody died or anything. And I'm going back through this time, killing everybody off. But, with one exception, I didn't kill off Hannah. I got her possessed. So, Hannah's possessed now, yeah. She's not dead, just possessed. Don't worry, nothing to worry about here. With a song and an extra spring in her step, she bounds across the corridor with as much spirit as only a child her age can have. And I'm gonna quick open up the Steam interface here, just checking out how I can get each chapter ending for this. Alright, there are only 2 endings here. As if the conversation has never taken any downhill turn for her after all. As if there isn't a single thing to worry about in this world. Not long after, she disappears behind a door, leaving behind strains of an old familiar rhyme lingering in the air. Carefree, unbidden, untroubled moments like this, I envy her. When I resume my hurried pace, a tiny whisper at the back of my mind wishes the same can be said of myself and my own worries. Just another forewarning, if you haven't played this game up to Chapter 5 yet, there are spoilers in here. So, yeah. Basically, all the routes, all the chapters aren't necessarily connected chronologically. After a chapter with one character, it switches to the perspective of another character, but not necessarily at the same time point. Although it jumps back in time near the start of the whole scenario, all the characters' viewpoints don't necessarily start at the same time. They could start a few days off from each other, but it fits together well. Anyways, Rebecca's went all the way back to the beginning. Very beginning. Where Isabella's originally started as well. Luxmore may be a small city, but it's no stranger to hellish rush hour traffic. But surprisingly, getting out of the city today proves more of a breeze than a hassle. A relief considering how none of my calls to Isabella have made it through. Either the reception's really bad over there, or she's ignoring them on purpose. both do nothing to ease the disquiet in me. The rest of my drive passes without much incident as soon as I'm out of the busy streets. In less than 30 minutes, the mansion looms ahead of me. For all the fuss Isabella made about the house, it remains a thing of beauty. On Lake Luxborn, the estate and the nearby Anselm village stand as a complete opposite. Living and breathing the songs of the old whispers of a once booming haven lingering in the air. Contemporary conveniences aside, it's a place I'm glad modernization hasn't wholly touched.
It's just a shame the locals know more of the silly hearsay than the history itself. If I could only knock some sense into these people!
Sadly, complaining is all I can afford to do. As much as I want to give them a piece of my mind, it isn't why I'm here. I don't think these rich types will appreciate getting a lecture from me either. I have as much business with them as they have with me. With a heavy sigh, I give myself one last second to take in the scenery before heading up to the main entrance. Most of the guests are already heading out. Though some still linger, it's mainly just to take photos of the house's facade or its various rooms. I pause for a moment, scanning the small crowd gathered at the foyer, looking for any sign of the familiar ponytail among the sea of hats and heads.
No sign of her.
No sign of the other staff or of Miss Cooper either. I can certainly look for Isabella on my own, but in a place this big, I'd be lucky if I didn't end up lost or find her before we need to meet with Zachary and Ashton tonight. Sighing, I reach for my mobile and redial her number, the gesture familiar now after so many attempts earlier. If she doesn't answer, I can still try contacting Miss Cooper. I just hope for the network reception will cooperate this time. This side of the county has never been popular with the tech savvy after all. To my relief, it only took 3 unsuccessful tries. At the 4th one, right as it's about to switch over to another intercept message, the line finally rings. Dots. Silence follows while I wait for her to pick up, the ringing going far too long for my taste. By now, most of the visitors have already cleared out. All I have for company are the faint murmurs and an eerie calmness left in their wake. A sudden hush settles and gives way to noises louder than they ever meant to be. Doors creaking and slamming shut in some distant part of the mansion, floorboards groaning under the sheer weight of the house's history. In the now empty hall, they all reverberate with special clarity against the walls. Like this, the old stories seem to almost have a ring of truth to it. I don't get to stray too far into that ugly line of thought, however. Not a second later, the click sounds from the other end.
Hello? Isabella? Miss Cooper called earlier and... Isabella? Belle? Are you alright?
Without any warning, the call gets cut off. Oh boy. Busy notes blare sharply against the heavy silence, but above the noise cutting through the mute air remains the faint cries of a woman from beyond the foyer. My hand falls to my side as I cast a wary look around, waiting for someone to come running. Surely I can't be the only one hearing this. There must be some staff hanging around checking things out, but no one does. Not even when her sobs turn more frantic and anguished.
Excuse me? Hello? Who's there? Isabella? Isabella? Is that you?
Dots. No answer. Growing anxious, I amble over to where her cries come from, each step slow and cautious, towards a door on the other side of the room. While I'm far from someone who readily gives in to fear a story is lacking factual basis, the vague, restless feeling I have earlier immediately returns to me. And despite myself, my heart begins to race and my breathing
Belle?
quickens.
Belle, it's me. Miss Cooper called. Is everything okay?
Abruptly, all of it stops. My whole body tenses, mouth dragging, ragged breath, ears straining for any other sound yet to come from the other side. But nothing follows. Instead, the quiet only lends itself to the heavy tension in the air, as if every small movement will disturb the fragile stillnesses hanging in the room. I wait for another second. Then, with caution, I reach for the knob. My fingers barely graze the brass handle when a hand falls on my shoulder.
Excuse me, ma'am? I am so sorry. I didn't mean to startle you.
No, it's a...
Still reeling, my gaze shifts back toward the door as if any second now the cries will start again or whoever's inside will burst out of the room. But I don't get to dwell on these. The woman's worried voice breaks through the haze in my mind again, oddly soothing in the think of my unease. Even if the concerned look comes from a total stranger, finally being in the company of someone else is somehow comforting.
Ma'am? Are you okay?
Oh, no, I'm fine. This is probably just some cold.
Do you need to sit down?
No need. I'm actually looking for a friend.
I wave the mobile in front of her like the gesture alone explains everything. Vaguely, I note my typed grid on it and quickly slip it into my pocket before she notices. She doesn't need to know.
Well, I'm not really sure if your friend would still be here. We're actually about to close the open house in a few minutes, ma'am.
No worries. She's not a guest here. She works for Briar Realty. Miss Cooper called me earlier. In fact, I'm also looking for her.
You're talking to the woman herself. Recognition flashes in her eyes and her worried expression dissolves into a smile at once. It's all I need to know that I don't have to look elsewhere or venture deeper into the mansion on my own. In some way, I'm not too keen on the latter right now.
Oh, Miss Rebecca Gales, is it?
Yes. Sorry if I'm a bit late.
It's not a problem. I was busy with the open house and a few clients anyway. It's actually a good thing you came when you did. Let's see. Isabella should be here somewhere. I told her to stay put earlier. Girl never listens.
Rose? Rosie, may I have a minute? There's just this one little thing before we go.
Marianne McCullough. Miss Cooper's head immediately snaps up at the voice. In a blink, a different kind of smile spreads on her face. A smile still, friendly even, but the kind given mainly for the sake of pleasing other people rather than making friends.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be there in a few.
It's an impressive thing, to say the least. That level of professionalism. I suppose working years in this kind of business trains you enough to be able to pull that off without batting an eye. It certainly didn't seem to have rubbed off on Isabella, though.
Sorry, could you give me a second? I have to take care of this.
Don't worry about it. I understand. I can wait a few more minutes. Clients, right?
You won't hear anything from me. Priorities, you know?
Clients, priorities, who needs them?
But if you want, you can stay at the parlor in the meantime. I think we have a few refreshments left.
No, thank you. I'm going out with a few friends after this. Isabella's supposed to join us too. But that depends on how she's doing.
Alright, this won't be long, I promise.
She throws me an apologetic look before sauntering over to the small group gathered at the entrance. A couple, or siblings, and another woman, probably their secretary. Either way, they look no different from the other guests. All three of them primly dressed, albeit in a manner significantly simpler than the others. No frills, no extravagance of any form. But their gestures and movements speak volumes of their ingrained lifestyle. In their presence, I do what I can to appear inconspicuous on my side of the foyer. Maybe accepting Miss Cooper's offer would have been a much better note than standing around awkwardly and gaping at them. All while also attempting my best to not listen in on their conversation. Although that one proves much more difficult with how enthusiastic the blonde woman is. Her voice easily echoes through the walls with only the five of us here. Pretty soon I find myself being drawn into their talk without meaning to.
Tomorrow? First thing in the morning?
First thing in the morning, ma'am.
The mundane talk isn't what catches my attention, however.
Very well. We'll have our lawyers prepare everything as soon as possible. Let's make this whole thing easier for everyone, shall we? Just let me know if there's anything you need from me.
Name, Hannah Wright.
You know how to contact me, yes?
Got your mobile number saved here already.
Good. It's just a matter of time then.
It's a brief moment, a fleeting shift of my
One day
eye.
for us, Marianne.
Just please make sure there won't be any other mishaps, ma'am. My team would be more than happy to help you then.
Story updated. Let's see where the tree changed. And yes, this is the branching tree for this chapter. It's, as you can see, pretty in-depth.
You worry too much. Do be thrilled, though. I imagine it's not every day you get projects like this,
And the instant I turn my gaze on him, I see it.
Oh, I'm certain Mint's ecstatic, Buttercup. Aren't you, Marianne? You know, we could all celebrate this with a few drinks. Why don't we? In fact, there's this really excellent Irish pub I visited a few days ago.
Looming, hovering over his shoulders, drawn to him like a moth to a flame. A dark blur. No. A shadow.
I think I'll pass on that, sir. I have
more important matters to attend to.
You heard her, love. She's busy.
You never let me do anything fun.
But as I tried to make sense of it, a heavy feeling descends over my whole body. It happens without warning, forcing me to close my eyes. The sensation creeps to every part of me, crawling under my skin and draining me little by little of any strength. Before I know it, my hand is gripping the nearby door for support. The sudden nausea drowns out their voices and what little sound there is. All except for the whispers and laughters. Judging, mocking, taunting, muffled, inaudible words bearing down on me like a death sentence. They wrap around my neck and limbs, binds tightening with every utterance. And with each draw of breath I take, they drag me down slowly, almost painfully, into a bottomless abyss. On, and on, and on, till the sounds turn into mere distant echoes. Until suddenly it shatters.
Well, what are we waiting for? Are we done here?
His voice rips through the fog like a sharp blade, and my eyes snap open. When I look to them again, it's gone.
You can head back to the car first if you want, Luke. I hope that settles everything, Rose. I don't know what Isabella's problem is, but please make sure she doesn't hurt herself. Anyway, we're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Likewise, ma'am.
No shadows or dark clouds, only amicable smiles and cordial handshakes, the usual pleasantries as Miss Cooper leads them out of the mansion like a graceful host. None of the group seems to have noticed it, and even as I force my breathing to calm down, keep my eyes trained on their backs, and wait for something to happen, it doesn't come back. She returns a moment later. Gently, she closes the great doors behind her, but there's a smile on her lips and an extra skip in her step when she walks back to me. Whatever she was discussing with the group had put her in a good mood. Even she appears to have not observed anything odd. Was I just seeing things?
Glad that was over.
Gotta go, quick turn something off. There we go.
It's been a long day. I thought for sure we're going to... hey, are you sure you're doing okay? You look a bit green.
Why? How offensive. I'm not green. Your hair is green. Maybe you have a problem, and your eyes are green too.
It's all good. I'm actually still recovering from a cold.
Who's green now?
Weather's been crazy lately.
The skies aren't green. That must be it. The weather, the stupid cold, and the friendly warnings I'm too stubborn to listen to. As much as I hate to admit it, Isabella's right. I was, and still am, a little feverish when she visited me at school this morning. The medicine helped, of course, but only some. Although it's not like I can't function. It did get better after lunch, and I was able to go through my schedule like the usual. Now I'm not so sure. However, I can't keep acting like I've seen some sort of apparition when it's anything but. I simply must have listened too many times to Isabella last week. My fever-muddled mind has started to confuse things. If this doesn't let up, I just need another visit to my doctor, plain and simple. Though I do hope it won't get worse. We did promise to watch Zachary's film together.
I know what you mean. I've been complaining to Isabel. It doesn't seem to affect her much, though. Must be because she grew up in the tropics. Anyway, shall we? She's probably hanging out with the rest of the catering staff.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised she's there. She eats like 10 hungry men when she isn't feeling well. Lead the way.
With a small nod, she gestures for me to follow. I do so without much thought, finally putting everything in the back of my mind. Dots. Journal entry. While waiting at the mansion, Rebecca overheard a brief conversation between the Wright couple, their interior designer, and estate agent Rose Cooper. It was discovered afterwards that Isabella had already left a few hours ago. Let's take a look at this branching tree, shall we? Alright. Last time it branched upwards. Let's see if it goes downwards this time. Hopefully it does. Although, I don't know how to unlock this part exactly. Isabella is no longer there, left shortly before I arrived. Or at least that's what the few staff who saw her assumed. None of them knew where she went, but I can take a few guesses. There are only a number of places in Luxborn she frequents, and while she's never been to the complex kind, it doesn't really take a genius to figure it out. Still, it's odd she left on her own. She could have at least waited for Miss Cooper. It would have saved her having to pay the cab's fare twice today.
And right after she was told to stay put! I mean, who does that?
Yeah, who does that? Isabella, you should feel ashamed of yourself.
Oh, sod off! You don't own the road!
In the end, all Miss Cooper could give me were a string of apologies for my trouble and a request to let her know when I find Isabella. The whole affair didn't even last long. I probably spent more time traveling back and forth. Soon enough, I'm weaving my way back to downtown Luxborn, worried sick, and on top of that, maybe a little annoyed. Whether at the unexpected turn of events or at Isabella herself, I'd rather not think about it for now. Not when I'm already running late for Zachary's film. Besides, I'm perfectly sure that's where I'll find her. As one would expect, people are already gathered at the movie house when I get to it. The small avenue where it's located has been closed off early from any passing traffic, to make way for the avid moviegoers who's sure to crowd the venue. I have to park almost a street away and walk the remaining distance because of it. Looking for them has taken a while in a crowd this big, but I eventually spot them near the entrance. Thanks to Zachary, mostly. And, like I surmised, Isabella's with them.
I knew it.
Wasting no time, I march over to the little group. Words filled with concern tumble out of my mouth before I can stop myself. Isabella Santos, why did you wander off? Ha 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 ha.
Isabella! Oh, thank goodness.
Becca, you're just in time.
An odd expression crosses her face as I hold it with both hands, but I ignore it in favor of getting a good look at her, forcing her to keep as still and fix her gaze at me.
Becca, you're squishing my face.
How are you? Are you all right?
Why wouldn't I be?
There doesn't seem to be any visible injury, nor does she appear to be in pain. Apart from her confused frown at my question, she looks pretty much like how she would any other day. Even so, you can't really tell those things with her at first glance. The last time she got sick, she never bothered to call anyone, even me, who lives right next door. If I hadn't checked on her then, she probably would have died on her bed with the rest of us none the wiser. It's one thing we laugh about now, but moments like those also teaches you something about a person. If anything, it has given me more reason to constantly worry about her. And the moment a familiar name comes up, I know my concerns right now aren't completely
Rose
baseless.
called me earlier.
Her expression swiftly changes, and gently as she can, Isabella pushes my hands away. Yet, before she even says anything, I already have a hunch how this whole thing will play out.
Oh, no, everything's good. Rose covered for me at work today.
That's not what I'm talking about. How's your head?
Then and there, the whole conversation goes down as I've imagined. She dodges my hand when I reach for the back of her head, intending to check the said injury myself, even makes a show of hiding behind Zachary just to avoid me. Instantly, what's supposed to be a simple inquiry dissolves into a shameless game of tag. Shouting and chasing, like none of us can be bothered to act like the full-grown adults we're supposed to be. Including Ashton. I won't put it past Isabella, but Ash? Out of everyone? In fact, if that stupid smirk on his face tells me anything, he finds this whole mess amusing. Oh, for the love of...
Isabella, this isn't a laughing matter.
She did look pale when I saw her earlier.
Wow, thanks a lot, Ashton, you traitor. I'll get you back for this, just—
What? I'm just saying it as it is. If you mentioned this earlier, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
There's a moment's pause. My hand stills midair as my attention shifts to Ashton and the words he leaves hanging between the four of us. He doesn't meet my eye. I don't think he's even aware of what he said. But the meaning in each syllable alone is clear. And they echo. They sting. They burn.
I'm sorry. Saw her?
Yeah, they arrived together. Bella looked fine to me then. I don't know.
Of course. Of course. Oh no. Of course! Why else would Isabella leave on her own after being told to stay put after that little chat about money this morning? Something close to silent falls while I mull over their words, both what's already been said and what's left unspoken. When I do find my voice, it only reeks with nothing but bitter, unpleasant thoughts. Thoughts I quickly stamp out before they surface. Stop being so jealous. Thoughts I hide the best I can in the deepest parts of my mind, walking away for no one to see.
Oh, that's good. At least she didn't have to travel alone, right? At least. Good.
Oh no, another girl is talking to Ashton. How terrible. Yet, as try as I might, the green-eyed monster easily rears its ugly head, like it always does every time his gaze lingers a second longer. Every time he smiles in manner far too gentle, far too sincere, whenever he thinks no one can see. Every time my mind suggests his words mean more than they should. Every small little thing. Despite what he says, despite his
Look,
tone.
you guys.
For all I know, it may just be the same kind of fondness born from friendship. Maybe I'm simply overthinking, like he often tells me. Or maybe there really is something there. But in his short display of impatience, I know the whole of it is just for show. After all, growing up together with him doesn't teach me nothing about him. For whose sake is it this time, though? For him? For Zachary? For her? Or for me? That I can't tell.
If she says she's okay, then there's nothing we can do about it. It's not like we can stop her either. Besides, she's still acting like the same old Isabella to me, if she can still run around like that.
Why are you taking her side?
I'm not, but if she wants to watch Zach's movie with us, I'm not going to stop her. She's probably the one looking forward to it the most.
Ash, that's... You, of all people, should know...
Tell you what, if I notice something amiss with her, I'll take her to the nearest hospital myself. Is that good enough for you?
My mouth opens, then shuts almost as quickly, forming a thin, hard line instead. I can't respond, not because there's nothing to say. On the contrary, there's plenty. So many things I can use to reason and get him to agree. But because he speaks with much certainty, much reassurance, it feels like there isn't even a choice. All I can give is a long, deep breath and a reluctant nod in the face of it. Before I get a grip of myself and my own weakness, the mood immediately shifts and I'm being tackled into a...
Thanks, Becca.
It's always been you with him, isn't it?
Did you say something?
Me? Nothing. Don't mind me.
Rebecca, what have I told you before? A lie, obviously. What else can it be? Each and every smile, a tiny effort to keep things as they are, or so I tell myself. Little do I know this is merely a preamble. Dots. It starts out quietly and without fanfare, amidst friendly jibes and harmless teasing, with a scrap of paper fluttering harmlessly to the ground. One that looks suspiciously like a cheap Halloween prank, no matter how you look at it. And yet, despite how ludicrous it is all, Isabella stubbornly insists, as if her whole life depends on acknowledging the truth in her story. Does she even realize how absurd she sounds now? Crivens, even my students won't fall for this.
Isabella, aren't you taking this a bit too far?
And for people tuning in that haven't played this game, or even the first parts, that is the letter that Isabella found in the attic at the beginning, the very beginning of her chapter. The letter that said, "Help me in blood." And when she looked up, there was a very, very horrific sight. A lady, torn and tattered, coming right for her. And at the bottom of the letter it says, "Pass this to 5 people, where else? In blood." And now 3 of them are reading it. She doesn't give me time to regret nor think over my choice of words. From there it escalates, growing into an argument too petty even for our standards as adults. Before we know it, one after another, harsh, scathing words are being spoken.
It's not a joke! Will you guys listen to me first? I saw something in the house earlier. It stood right in front of me. If I hadn't gotten away, that thing might have...
Right. And in broad daylight, Isabella. Typically I don't believe in this stuff, but even someone gullible would find the logic in that screwed up.
There's also no way in hell that this supernatural shit you're talking about is true.
But it's real! What do you think I saw?
A hallucination? A delusion? Didn't you say you fell down some stairs? So maybe Rebecca's right.
It happened after, when I was trying to get away. I almost got stuck in the same room with that thing. We're all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
But someone has to be patient in all this, and however much my own has already been frayed earlier, there's no one else. Who else here can deal with someone selfishly acting like a kid? Like every other time, it has to be me. Now, here's where this kind of irks me a little. Of course, the person that acts the youngest of all of them, and the newest to their friend group of sorts, the one that has more childish traits, has to be the one that finds the letter. Because, of course, she's the least likely to be believed. But, you know. it worked out in the end.
We are, and you know that. But this thing and that thing has got nothing to do with the other. When Rose called earlier, I thought she's just exaggerating. But based on what I'm seeing right now, maybe it's better if we really postpone this for now.
Don't bother.
Just like that, she cuts us off. Slams the door right on our faces while my own temper flares before I can stop it. Although it falters briefly at the hard expression on her, when she snatches the blasted paper from Ashton, I hold on to it. Regardless of how upset she appears, soured expression and balled fists, throwing a tantrum is simply unacceptable. For a grown woman, at that. Words form at the tip of my tongue, ready. But before I can open my mouth and let all of it out, her feelings and mistakes speak damned. Zachary raises a voice of his own. Yeah, Dolphins, that is a good question. All those people have seen the letter. But, you know, maybe it was all just a trick. After all, spirits don't necessarily play the nicest.
Guys!
A warning underneath a warm and hopeful beat in his voice. We all stop and look to him, and even my own anger subsides a little at his tone.
Why don't we all calm down first? I'm sure Isabella has her reasons too. No need to be hard on her. And hey, ain't this supposed to be a happy get-together?
To an outsider, it may sound like a desperate request, but Zachary has always been the one to keep a level-headed over petty squabbles. This time's no different. He knows what to say, and when he lets it fall, they only ring sharp and true.
We haven't seen each other for months. I'd really love to know what y'all have been up to. I only ever get to talk to Bella over chat. Please.
And as careful as he is with his own tone, it does make me feel ashamed. We're supposed to be here for him to give what little support we can give, yet here he is trying to keep 3 stubborn people from outright hashing it out in public. Oh, and another thing I really kind of enjoy about this game is that, put it this way, since the chapters aren't in chronological order and it jumps around a lot, you can somewhat you can watch somebody playing a chapter and not have necessarily other events spoiled, if you know what I mean. Because in order to grasp the whole story, you need to see it from every person's perspective. And each of the characters' perspectives are generally unique to their own. So, there's a lot that can be unspoiled. Just some thoughts. Later we can and we'll talk about it, of course. There's a proper time and place for it, and at the moment my anger and whatever reprimands it carries no longer matter. Beside me, Ashton appears to have already caught on. The lines of his shoulders ease to something much more relaxed, his expression back to its usual nonchalance. Isabella, however, she stands perfectly still, her hands clasping the straps of her bag like a lifeline, eyes trained at some point near her shoes. There's no anger in her face, only an undeniable hurt, but she's never been good at hiding what she thinks, always the open book, always the one to wear her heart out in the open. And when she looks up, her answer is also as simple.
If we keep arguing here, we're going to miss the first few minutes.
Her lips are curled up in a smile. Though lacking both its usual brightness and glee, it's a smile nonetheless. I've seen it countless of times. It's the very same one she would show when she knows she has no other choice, or simply when things get tough for her. But despite everything I already know about her, it catches me off guard. In all honesty, I expected her to run, to balk at the first sign of losing this time. I won't even be surprised. At 26, she is the youngest among the rest of us, less experienced, less accustomed to dealing with trivial quarrels like this. Yet, here she is, holding herself and coping with it like how she should with matters concerning her family. Outside of that, to me, she has always been this childish, naive girl, and watching the opposite play out right now, somehow I find it difficult to wrap my head around it.
Alright, that's the Isabella I know.
Oh, good. I thought for sure you were going to cry.
But I envy her.
What was that for?
Stop calling me a crybaby! I'm not one.
Oh, another personal opinion. Rebecca is the character I like the least, so I won't have any issues with killing her off. Actually, it's kind of mean. I mean, the first time I played through, I tried keeping all the characters alive, but I don't know. She kind of seems kind of conceited.
Aw, don't cry.
Stop it!
I envy her spirit, her warmth, her cheer, shine in her eyes when she looks at the world, how everything seems to simply fall back to a pleasant, lively rhythm with her around. How easily and tightly she fits into our lives, even without bonds only long years could forge, like a lost piece of a puzzle despite her jagged edges. How she draws people to her with ease. How Ashton, of all people, can be drawn to her.
Okay, scaredy cat then.
That too. If you repeat that, I swear I'll...
Let's just go.
Yeah, let's go. I make no effort keeping the bitterness from my tone. I let it seep, linger stiffly in the air as I avert my gaze from them. From their playful banter, their friendly teasing remarks, and Ashton's tender affectionate smiles. All before the stabbing aches in my heart change into something too painful to hear. It's all in my head is what I'd often tell myself. Yet the way my heart rends at just the sight of them hurts. And like a coward, I walk away from all of it, taking with me a small hope the movie will distract me away from these thoughts. Because, like this, it's easy to find something to hate in her. Diska's already given way tonight when we leave the film fest. Unfortunately, it does nothing to improve my mood like I am hoping. Neither does the muggy air that greets us upon stepping back into the noisy streets. Too busy, too loud, too many people taking what little space the sidewalk offers. It forces anyone to bump shoulders with those they barely know, let alone care about. On a normal evening, I probably wouldn't have minded the crowd nor the humid weather. It's not like any of them are bothering anyone. And yet, even with what's admittedly a pleasant company, I can't bring myself to lighten up.
See you guys some other time.
Yeah. See ya.
Not even to return the smiles Ashton and Zachary gives us when we go our separate ways. Perhaps this started with Miss Cooper's call, or earlier than that, maybe even the moment I left bed this morning. Bloody hell, it could have been even because of that sodding letter for all I know. I couldn't care less at this point. All I want is to get a warm bath, sleep, and wait for this dreadful day to end. Now, if only Isabella would stop babbling, then maybe this dull throbbing at the side of my head won't turn into a full-blown headache, too.
Zach did a pretty good job with his movie, didn't he? Even though Ash said he ran into some trouble late into filming. But I knew he had it in him. It's not like I didn't believe he couldn't do it. I mean, did you see his face after the credits rolled? All those months he worked on this. And everything's fine.
You weren't even watching.
Only the first minutes. I watched the rest of it, I swear. Besides, Ashton was the one who wouldn't stop asking questions.
Well, why do we still need to talk about this then? I liked it. Ash liked it. You liked it.
Stop being a bitch, Rebecca.
Shouldn't you be telling that to Zachary in person? I'm sure he'll appreciate it better than I ever will.
I know that, but maybe there's something you want to say? Zach had you check the scripts before he went through everything, didn't he? You also worked on it, even if it was only for a short time. So, maybe you want...
I don't bother waiting for the rest. The moment I spot my car, I immediately make a quick beeline for it. Knowing her, this is merely another attempt at starting a conversation. Just so we'll have something to fill the dead air to replace the strained atmosphere we've somehow walked into. One thing, the very last thing, I'm not too keen to deal with at present. Behind me, Isabella also changes her pace to match mine, her soft strides growing brisk and uneven in order to catch up. A small part of me half expects she'll suddenly trip. She's not the clumsy sort, but there are definitely times where she can be the least coordinate person on the planet.
Becca, hey! Oh no, wait for me!
And people wonder why I worry. They're not really completely unfounded once you've already grown familiar with her habits. Though right now, this is also at the very end of the list of things I want to talk about. Sometimes it does become overbearing. Even her voice as she calls after me sounds nothing more than the background noise to my ears now.
Rebecca, slow down, will you? Your car's not going to leave without us.
The sooner we get on the road, the earlier we can get home. It's Friday, in case you didn't notice.
I know what day it is, but the traffic's not going to magically disappear, even if we go there right now.
I don't want to hear that from you. Didn't you used to complain how horrendous the traffic is back home for you?
Yeah? But that doesn't have anything to do with this, Becca.
Okay. What do you want to do then? Wait it out? Walk? I just want to go. If you want to stay out here longer, I won't stop you. But leave me out of it. I'm not up for any other foolish excursions tonight.
I wasn't thinking about an excursion. I want to go home too. It's already late. It's just that you've been in this prickly mood since earlier. Are you really okay? Was it the cold? Or did something happen at school? Do you want to talk about it?
A long pause follows, and it holds everything she's been meaning to ask from the very start. I'm in no mood, but all the same my hand stops short of unlocking my car and my grip on the handle tightens. Loosen up, Rebecca, jeez. I can feel her eyes boring on me, waiting, hoping patiently for any answers I'd give. She's the same as Zachary, they're bad liars. But when you talk to people like them, if you're not careful, they often leave you with no other choice but to admit the truth. Those exact same ones I can't voice. Despite my lack of response, she pushes on, surprisingly. This time her tone is quieter, more tentative than usual.
Was it because of the letter?
It's a well-meaning question, much like the rest of this talk, yet something in how she says it irks me. Of course it does. What doesn't irk you?
If it is, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to cause a scene. I did see something in the mansion, though. I wasn't lying about that.
Wherever she wants to take this, I no longer want to hear a word of it. Not at this moment. Preferably never. And this is why I dislike Rebecca. Especially when there are already a million other things buzzing and prodding inside my head. Sometimes my patience can only be tried for so long. Well, Isabella's gonna end up dead anyway. Because we already killed her off. Dead Isabella, dead Zachary, dead Marianne, and Hannah is possessed in this timeline. Or playthrough, rather. We said that Cole caught up with me before. Interesting. I wonder how I unlock this, this part down here. I'm not sure. Weird. Because it's the common route that automatically switches over to. Oh, I know it. I know it. Back in the Isabella route, if I had a... Probably... You can choose to just leave right from the movie. And then this part shows up because Rebecca doesn't end up talking to her after the movie because she's not there. She's already at home. Okay. Well, I missed that opportunity. At least I know how to get it now. I'm not in the mood to talk.
And during the open house, even if there were a lot of people around, there were weird things happening. I don't know if there was anyone else who noticed, but I heard things.
Yeah, I went into the cellar. I went into the cellar, and Hannah was bogging out for a bit. Was trying to get away from the crazy monster, the crazy Mrs. Spooks. But then the Hannah, when she went into the attic, she found a pendant and turned all possessed on us. And then we went and we murdered poor Zachary as possessed Hannah.
I'm sure it wasn't because I fell down the stairs. Even before that, in the attic,
Will you get the sorting letter? Arrest already!
Stop being so rude. The effect is immediate. Abruptly, Isabella clams her mouth shut. Hurt flickers across her face as she looks away. No shit, Sherlock. And her shoulders droop, all before the thought of holding back on my tone or how she'll take every word crosses my mind. When the realization does hit after, a twinge of guilt washes over me at once. But with all that already been said and done, what am I supposed to tell her then? That I'm someone who can easily be unsettled by my own assumptions? That the stupid sulk has been brought on by some equally stupid jealousy? That the simple glimpse of her and my childhood friend together infuriates a part of me? Or that I wish I'd been in her place during these times instead? Here's another thought. He's been your childhood friend for so long because you didn't make any freaking moves, idiot. True or not, I owe her neither of those, and if anything, she's the last person I want to know about it.
Look here, I'm not in the mood for this kind of talk tonight. My head is aching and I'm tired.
Oh, I'm tired.
I
Oh,
don't
no.
want to hear about the dumb letter, or the mansion, or whatever it was you saw in the bloody attic. Just get in the car and we're going home.
Sorry. I won't mention it again.
What an asshole.
If you're so worried about it, why don't you just throw the blasted thing away?
You make it sound so easy.
Because it is. Here, hand it over, and I'll do it for you. Might as well shred it up while we're at it.
I hold a hand out to her, though the gesture is without any expectations. She's nothing if not stubborn, and it isn't surprising when she turns down the offer with a swat of her hand.
Rebecca, just leave it alone, okay? I get it. You don't want anything to do with it.
And you're an asshole.
Good. I hope that settles it.
Yeah, just forget I mentioned anything. I'll figure it out myself.
That makes me stop again. This time I turn to look at her, searching her face for an explanation. But all she offers me is a sidelong glance and another one of those pained looks before climbing onto the passenger seat and closing the door behind her. She looks pained. You keep mentioning her pained looks and how upset she seems. Doesn't that raise any flags? You know, like maybe, possibly, quite possibly, she's not nuts and might be telling the truth and not trying to trick you into playing some stupid childish game. You know, maybe she might be serious, but you're too much of an idiot to figure it out, Rebecca. Somehow, with even the steady din of traffic around us, the sound of that feels heavier, weighted with everything we refuse to utter tonight. This is what I want, isn't it? It certainly doesn't feel like it. Thankfully, if there's anything left to be spoken between us after, we won't have to discuss it on the way home. Or rather, we can't, because no sooner than we hit the road, Isabella dozes off. Despite my foul mood, I still end up suppressing laughter once the first sounds of her breathing fill the car.
Mama?
Not your mom, Isabella.
Slow and steady, the quiet rhythm so completely unlike her, so far removed from every impression anyone ever has of her. A few faint whimpers will occasionally come from her, but otherwise it's just us, the silence, and it's so utterly unexpected. Still a welcome break, of course. Peace and quiet is one thing you'll rarely get with her around. Yet it's nowhere near comforting. It merely lends the air with a strange clarity, every little sound, every single movement more palpable. And with it comes the unease. A jolt of surprise hits me. It's almost comical if this were a different situation. In my haste, I accidentally dislodged my mobile from its seat and on the dashboard when I swipe it off on the screen. Soon I'm scrambling blindly for it with my other hand while keeping a steady eye on the road ahead. A voice crackles from loudspeakers before I can put it back. Although muffled heavily by the surface, I recognize the person on the other line from her chipper tone alone.
Hello?
Miss
Hello?
Cooper.
Oh, you're still awake. Evening. I hope I didn't disturb you or anything. I know it's a bit late. Sorry about that. I just want to check on you and Isabella. That girl's still not answering her mobile. Were you able to meet up with her?
Yes. She's with me. We're on our way home.
Hello? What was that again? I can't hear you properly.
Sorry. Let me just fix this dumb phone.
My hand stops dead for a moment. I spare the device a brief glance, waiting. Seconds pass. Nothing happens, though. Frankly, I'm not sure what I'm expecting. Wait on. Damn light won't go on in my room. Trying to flicker it on, but it's not going on. It's completely dark here, and this game is creepy, and playing in the dark is double creepy. Why is this light not going on? How many times do I need to flicker this thing? Okay. It won't go on. I'm gonna blow a fuse if I keep doing this. Okay. Just turn the other light switch on. Good enough.
Miss Cooper?
Yes, still here.
Did you say something?
Just that I didn't get the last part. What were you saying again?
No, I thought you... Never mind. Coming in?
What?
Is everything all right over there?
Certainly. Is something wrong? What wouldn't? Okay, you seem to be busy. If this is a good time, I can just call you back some,
I have to make a conscious effort not to panic right then and there, although my tight hold on the steering wheel tells a different story altogether.
Miss Cooper! Rose! Hey, Rose!
Only a burst of static answers me, and maybe this lapse is entirely because of exhaustion. This next part, I love it. It has been a long day, and I haven't fully recovered from last week's bout of flu, contrary to what I've been telling people. Though perhaps I had paid closer attention to it, and I had not been so occupied with other thoughts, I probably would have noticed earlier. That it never came from my phone, but from somewhere right behind me. Oh boy. Time slows to a crawl. Looking up is a mistake. The first thing I see is its face, a ghastly shade, ever-inched, battered, bruised, and bloodied. Even in the darkness and the world passing by in a blur of lights outside, I can make out still the wounds. Blood still oozes from it, little trails of crimson running down its face, glistening under what little light there is. But it is the gleam in its eyes that catches mine. The quiet plea, the anguish, and the desperation in them, more than its hideous features and the awful stench of gore now soaking the air. And try as I might, I can't bring myself to look away, even as its lips contort into a horrific smile. Even as a sharp, harsh noise pierces the air and the silence around us.
Rebecca! Huh? Car! Eyes on the road!
Against everything I've been taught and I've constantly reminded myself, I close my eyes. Thoughts. It's a brief moment. Short, vivid second of muscle memory and instinct completely taking over. And if I didn't allow it, my hands didn't move or my feet didn't hit the brakes in that exact second, I might have... Isabella and I might have... No. I shake the notion away before I lose myself in it. Right now, it's an ugly line of thought I refuse to venture into, not when breathing is a struggle and every ounce of strength has been totally drained from my body. Most definitely not while Isabella's panicked voice behind me still rings in my ears. We're alive. We're safe. That's all that matters. But it's not her face that I look for when I finally open my eyes. All gone. I expected stains, little telling marks and creases on the covers to show me where it sat not a few seconds ago. But whatever it is, it left not a single trace. And through courage is a hard thing to gather at this point. I take what little of it remains in me and turn towards the back seat. Even then, there's none. Or was there really something there in the first place? With how empty it is, I'm beginning to doubt it. That stupid flu again.
I need a long rest after this.
My hands fall uselessly to my sides, numb from how taut my grip on the wheel has gone, yet still trembling from the unexpected rush of adrenaline. Against my ears, my heart still pounds in erratic rhythm, and my breathing hasn't slowed down. But the world has already righted itself without waiting for me, and little by little, second after second, I sit there motionless, color begins to seep back around me. I'm gonna skip ahead a little. Going on about a memory lapse, and then they go back home in silence. So yeah. Let's go through and find this journal entry. After watching Blue, Isabella tried making small talk with Rebecca, but the latter was in a prickly mood and not interested. On the way home, Rebecca glimpsed something suspicious sitting in the back of the seat of the car. It is now Monday, October 24th. It begins normally enough.
Isabella, I don't have time for this! Open up!
Whereas normal as shouting outside her room could get early this evening. Oh, on a Monday no less. Oh crap. Oh no. Oh dear God. This has to be because I killed her off. Did I kill her off on the 23rd or the 24th? I'm not even sure if our landlady's home yet, and I sure hope not. She won't like this ruckus, but it's not like we haven't had an argument before. We have plenty of times. There's that one time with the groceries, and another that has something to do with the mess in our room. Sometimes it has to do with my eating habits or her eating habits. There's also the one in the moving house a few days ago, but that one got resolved pretty uneventfully. No, she didn't die yet because we didn't have the phone call with her yet. Or it's so I'd like to believe. She seemed to be in a good mood when she asked all of us out for that little celebratory treat. Anyway, the point is we didn't go through 5 years worth of being friends without having a little argument here and there. Granted, it can get pretty petty at times, but none of them has pushed either of us to end this friendship. Yet. Although most of them does end up with her sulking in a room until I push her out of it. A child through and through. This morning,
You're
however...
still not going to believe me, even if someone else already died, no?
There really comes a point when you need to smack some sense into people. It's murder. The authorities said so. And yet she's still going on about the Halloween prank like it's the bloody letter's fault.
It's a piece of paper, Isabella.
Oh.
What can a piece of
Oh,
paper
crap.
do? Give
Maybe
you a paper cut?
Oh, you know what? She died on the 23rd and Oh, she is dead. She's dead right now.
I swear, you can be so frustrating at times.
You do not want to look in that room. You do not want to look in that room. I know Rose is a close friend to her, but she's doing her death a huge disservice by being like this. Oh, God. Taking out my mobile, I dial her number, and sure enough, her own rings from the other side of the door. Oh, no. I don't hang up in case something possesses her to answer or she's just sleeping, but I've been going at this for 15 minutes now. She didn't hear me after that. She sure as hell is ignoring me. On purpose.
Isabella, I know you're in there. Can you please stop this nonsense? You're acting worse than my students when they're throwing a tantrum. You're not a kid anymore.
You're not going to be prepared for this. A minute and another. Oh, no. Oh, God. Then I'm ending the call while fishing out a copy of my keys from her bag and unlocking the door. She lent it years ago after I complained about the mess and offered my help in cleaning it up. I thought the gesture was completely unnecessary then. After all, I could always knock. This is going to be so scary. But she never did bother taking them from me and always returning it or turning away from the conversation whenever I insist. At one point, I've simply stopped trying to hand it back to her. Good thing I did. I do not want to open this door. Now her stubbornness is coming in handy. For once, she did something right. Miracles and miracles, isn't
Isabella,
it?
I'm coming in and we are going to talk.
Except you're not. Oh, God. Without waiting for her answer, I pushed the door open and marched inside. Oh, dear God. Although the telly's running, it merely gives the room a dim glow. Dimmer than it used to be, I act mainly due to its age. She brought that set from the second-hand store nearby. It's been with her since she started living here. Though she doesn't really watch anything on it. I have to take my headphones off. This is gonna scare the shit out of me. On the weekends, she doesn't seem to have any use for it. It's just for background noise so the place wouldn't be as quiet as she's working home alone. She's told me before how much she misses the clearness of the city, and here in Salem's, well, it's just quiet everywhere. That silence bothers her more than anything new and unfamiliar she encountered in the first year here. If the rent isn't cheap, she probably would have moved away already. It's an odd side of hers, but there are worse ones.
Like when she's moping.
Like when she's moping. I find her sitting at her work desk, bent over the mess of papers, the folders layering the top, nose almost touching the paper she's working on. Oh, God. Oh, dear God. Oh, no. She's dead. On one end, I make out the silhouette of a stack of empty noodle cups, though I find an unexpected urge to wrinkle my nose at the sight. Her cleaning habits are also the least of my concerns right now. I can reprimand her later for it. But first, I'm so sorry, Rebecca. Now I really do feel bad for you because you're gonna flip. But first, we talk and put an end to these silly misconceptions being feeding her mind. We need to talk about this letter nonsense. She doesn't answer, she doesn't move. She's giving me silent treatment because I won't buy her little horror story. Just the thought of it irks me and prods at my already short temper. I don't want to see this. With each second that passes, it grows ever shorter. Isabella, I know you're busy. You can't keep going on like this. Don't response. Why must be so difficult?
I'm telling you to listen. Will you
face me? But despite what I tell myself, fear easily worms its way to my voice when I call out to her again. Isabella? Something heavy lodges itself to my throat.
Belle?
Sound of my heartbeat thrashes against my ears. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Oh God. With a trembling hand, I reach for her shoulder and gently as I can, I turn around. Oh, God! Yeah. 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 This is all your fault. My heart stops. A chill runs down my spine. Why would you ever do that? Why would you turn her? Turn the light on at first. Oh God, why? Every edge, every corner in the room suddenly goes sharp. I can't breathe, and before I know it, my horrified scream ripples through the air. Dots. Achievement unlocked, into the meat grinder. Oh no! Into the meat grinder. I did the sequence where Isabella gets ticked off at everybody for not believing her, so she goes home and ignores Rebecca, ignores her calls and such. And then as she's doing research, trying to dig stuff up, she feels arms behind her, and she thinks it's Rebecca just hugging her from behind. Then she looks up and sees it's the freaking demon, and it kills her. Dots. A few hours afterwards, the whole place devolves into chaos. I mean, I saw that before with Ashton's photos, but not like that. Not like that. Oh boy. Nameless people in white suits moving in and out of the room. Fellow tenants crowding the nearby hallway to get a glimpse of whatever's inside. Paramedics and police officers trying to corral a growing group downstairs. At some point, nosy journalists have started flocking in, likely for a scoop. Because it's a scoop, no matter how much I want all of them to stay away. And what right do you have to say that, Bella, or Becca? It was you staying away that caused this to happen. Alright. To not look at her.
Not like this. That isn't how you should see her.
It was a commotion. But amidst the ambulance's bright flashing lights, the murmurs of the curious bystanders, barely any of registers. Hell, I can barely remember anything when my landlady pulls me out of the room. I don't feel her hand against my shoulders as she ushers me out. I don't hear her muttered reassurances. Is it a gentle touch of comfort? How does her voice sound? They all come out empty, each and one of them falling hollow on my deafened ears. Because she's gone. She's gone. Yet I can't even bring myself to shed a single tear. Much as I will myself, no matter how much I repeat the words in my head, none of it will come out.
What's wrong with me?
We're friends, aren't we? I should be crying. If not, I should be angry at whoever did this to her. Anything better than this cold, empty feeling at the bottom of my stomach. Anything better than standing around here like a useless numpty that I am, watching all the people zip by and examine her like she's just some other victim.
Female, around 20 to 25 years old.
Distant.
Time of death must be less than 5 or 6 hours ago.
Impersonal.
Course, still unknown.
Everything about her now broken down to ruthless statistics. She has a name, damn it. She has friends here. She has a family waiting for her back home. Someone please.
Crime scene?
Second floor, sir. Just upstairs. Second room after the stairs.
Ashton?
Hold on a sec. Did you say second room after the stairs?
Exactly what I said, sir. CSM should be there to brief you further on the scene. But, if I may, Inspector? You really don't want to see the body right now. Inspector Abigail had to excuse herself for a while after, you know.
I'll be the judge of that. Thanks.
His voice drifting from the stairs below falls like a splash of cold water on mine. Somehow, at the familiar tone of it, the world that had suddenly tilted sideways has righted itself. Every color, every sound rushes back in, and my head immediately snaps up in search of him. Another officer stops him upon reaching the floor, but a quick show of his badge is enough for them to allow him in. He doesn't waste any time. Ash quickly makes a beeline for the room and passes by where I'm standing without so much as a glance. And this is honestly heartbreaking. Poor Ash. I really do like Ash. He's probably my favorite character in this game. He doesn't seem to have noticed me. His steps are even and sure as he walks by, his jaw clenched in a tight line, a complete departure from the easygoing air he gives off when he's with us. Like this, it's hard to think of Ashton and the one in front of me as the same person. But a word creases on his forehead, a stiffness on the lines of his shoulders. And I know the moment his expression is on him that this news should not just come from some crime scene manager. I should say something. I need to say something. Call out to him. Stop him, because more than anyone, he shouldn't be the one taking on this case. He may be someone who will understand about how I feel about this, and who knew the kind of person Isabella was. But will he be able to go at this with the same passive indifference his associates have? Of course, I never doubt his capability. That's a given, and he's already proven that more than once. But this may not be easy for him. What should I do? How should I even put it? Tried to tell him myself. Stop, Ash. Alright, where are we? We're here. We're gonna save. Save here. What do we do? Ash is at... he's a little below normal. Try to tell myself. He goes up. Let's go back and load this. And see what happens if we stop Ash. He doesn't need to see this. It goes down. Okay. Well, right now we're gonna go with the one that goes up. I was the one who found her. The one who saw her first. Telling the rest of our group should at least be my responsibility, lessen the blow for them as much as I can. Otherwise, they'd simply hear it from the news, delivered in the same uncaring manner as if she had never been a huge part of our lives these past few years. I'd like to save them, save him from that pain.
Ashton, wait!
Ashton stops dead in his tracks, turned, his worried expression dissolving into confusion.
Rebecca? I thought they... Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm good. But Ashton, in that room.
The words refuse to form. My mouth opens and closes, yet even with my earlier resolve and a will to force them out, they still don't. All of them still lost in the haze of gory images and the acrid tang of blood. I shouldn't have assumed this would be easier. Shame fills me, especially with that tiny glimmer of hope he carries in his gaze, the searching look on him as if he's expecting to hear some good news from me. A desperate prayer for his assumptions to be wrong. It pains me I couldn't bring him that, and I can only look away.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
His expression doesn't fade away like I surmised, however. There's an effort to keep him to keep the atmosphere light despite the shadow of death surrounding us. Slowly he reaches up to me and gives my shoulders a squeeze as light as they can be, a tiny effort to raise my spirits and perhaps even his own.
Don't. This is no one's fault. Just stay here. Let me look at the situation. It couldn't have been her. Autopsy might reveal something different. Who knows?
Ash, I was in there. I saw her with my own eyes, and I'm sure it's...
Becca, like I said, I'll look at the situation. Stay here. I'll be back.
His tone leaves no room for argument. I see the moment he tucks it all away, his apprehension, the growing anxiety in his stomach, even the part of himself he showed us so openly before. A friendly, easygoing Ash? He hides it all, builds an even thicker wall around it. He crosses the police tape without looking back and walks into the room an entirely different person. And from my room, from my place, in the doorway, I witness all of it. How he never flinches nor gags at the smell of blood. How he studies and takes everything in with his straight face. How his voice drifts from inside the room and every time he asks a question in tone even and collected. How he checks the victims, Isabella's lifeless body without even batting an eye, going about his work as if nothing ever happened at all. As if this isn't someone he knew personally.
Doesn't this faze you at all?
Before long, Ashton goes back out of the hallway, same with the same impassive look on him. He waves someone over. Another officer? Forensics? Paramedic? After witnessing that, everything has become a daze for me. The next thing I know, somebody's draping a blanket over my shoulders.
Make sure she's okay and calm enough before they start taking her statement.
I don't protest when the medic starts leading me downstairs. She's speaking in hushed tones about an ambulance, although I don't understand much from it. But there's a thump. Muffled, dull. Enough for me to miss it, have I not looked back, and the sight that greets me upon doing so is what leaves a mark in my memory before descending to the stairs. There, Ashton stands with his back turned away from me, his shoulders shaking, a fist clenched firmly against the wall. And just like that, I have my answer. Does this faze him? No. He's worked plenty of cases before this one. He got almost a decade of experience on that, nothing new in seeing and dealing with a dead body for him, but it hurts him. This hurts him more than anything. I know, Ashton is my favorite character in this game, and I know that he must... I don't know what he's thinking, but it's probably nothing good at all. Ugh. Things are less busy where the paramedics guide me downstairs. By this time, the entire flat complex has been sealed off from any outsiders, though a considerable number of people have already flocked in front of the building. Reporters, gossips, onlookers. The size of them will probably grow until the important-looking officers clear out from the area. Joy of joys. On the far side of the parking lot, a few officers interview some of the tenants, particularly the ones living closer to us. Some of them offer me pitying looks when I pass by, all of which I do my best to ignore. I don't need them. Even the sympathetic smile the medic shoots my way, I return with less enthusiasm. You like Ash and Zach? If I had to pick two favorite characters, male I'd say Ash and female I'd say Luke. Just kidding. Male I'd say Ash and female... definitely not Hannah. Ugh. I don't know about Isabella. No, definitely Isabella. I'm not very much of a fan of Marianne, so I guess Ash and Isabella. Even the sympathetic smile the medic shoots my way, I return with less enthusiasm. She is, however, kind enough to escort me to get whatever I need. The investigators will be closing off the premises while the forensics gather evidence, she informs me. And of all the things to cross my mind first...
My mail.
Instead of any basic necessity someone in their right mind would think of first. Ridiculous. Yet she doesn't say anything, simply nods and tells me to lead the way. For that, I'm grateful. Sometimes the silence is enough, and sometimes familiar sounds are enough. Even something as simple as the creaking of an old mailbox once I pull the lid down, and the shuffling of paper against my fingers as I go through today's mail.
Bills, brochures, a letter for Mom and Dad. I should probably call them. Let them know. It's another one of Isabella's mail.
I think that was the letter, her scholarship letter. That sucks. Dots. Alright, I will be back in about 30 seconds. Alright, it was a bit, more than 30 seconds. What happened to Isabella? Okay, basically, well, I'm not sure, if you've been through this point yet in the game, but Isabella was brutally murdered when I did her chapter, and then Becca came in to find her body in her room, brutally murdered. So yeah, torn apart, shreds. It was pretty awful. Yeah, Isabella's dead. So that's not fun. The following morning arrives unlike any other day before it, glaringly bright and clear. The fact that it comes with an extra helping of the unusual October weather doesn't help either. No, not the car accident. It was, well, see, there's the car accident. I saw that ending, but I didn't continue with that one because I didn't know if she actually died or not. There was the one, though, where she decides to go back to her house after something on the something happens on the 23rd. She gets upset, goes back to her house, spends the whole day there trying to dig up evidence relating to her agency firm, all the missing people. And then she ignores a call from Rebecca. She ignores their call from Rebecca, tells her to not come and help her out. And so she's doing her research. It's late at night. Then she hears somebody behind her, and something hands on her shoulders. She thinks it's oh yeah, because of Rose's death. Yeah, she thinks it's Becca, who came in her apartment to say hi. She turns and looks up, and she's met with the eyes of Mrs. Spooky Spooks, who then proceeds to tear her stomach out. And her eyes, and basically all of her internal organs. But yeah. Mrs. Spooky Spooks 1, character 0. Well, actually, Spooky Spooks has gotten 1, 2, 3, and she's possessed Hannah, so 4. Spooky Spooks is clearly in the lead here. Although I appreciate catching a glimpse of an unclouded sky after last week's bout of sickness, the sun is simply shining a little too much today, considering how the world was completely tilted on its axis last night. Too warm, too cheerful, a stark reminder of her, of the kind of person she is. She was.
That'll take some getting used to.
Everything will take some getting used to. Maybe it might have helped more if her name isn't already on every imaginable local broadsheet and news program. If everything around me didn't evoke a memory or two. But that isn't how this usually works, does it? Easing into these thoughts, learning to go through a day without an entire person that always used to be there. 5 years may be fleeting, but it's enough time for someone to grow on you. Enough time for them to be a significant part of anyone's lives. And I'm gonna... Oh, I can't skip through this. Bloody hell. A fist fight almost broke out between those two just because of this whole thing. Neither was at fault, of course. The emotions were high at the time. I left the scene as soon as the investigators are done with their questions,
I
but
wonder if those two are going to be okay.
I suppose this is all part of the coping thing. A mess happens, we're left to pick up the pieces after, and not everything is going to be pleasant. It always is about making do of what you have, and if that means getting stuck, staying at an inn while the police finish off their investigation, well, there's nothing I can do about that now. Luckily, the nearby cafe's manager is also kind enough to offer me a space where I can temporarily put the sudden mess that is my life in proper order. Let's check out this tree here. We are on the middle route, and it looks like we're going through pretty fast. Then we'll be back on the common route again. Yeah, this is a pretty long route. Oh yeah. Here's what happens. If you didn't see Zach's, I played through Zach's, and this was earlier. I'm not sure if I streamed this part or not, but in Zach's route, Zach comes and finds the scene, the crime scene, and he hears about what happens, and I'm pretty sure he gets pretty pissed at Ash for not believing Isabella. So he goes and punches him because he's pissed off at him. I think it went something like that. But after it, Ashton's like, I won't be pressing assault charges because of the tension or whatever. Just let me do whatever I have to do. And later on, they go out for lunch, and Zach apologizes to Ash. Dots. I've been sitting here for a few hours now. The manager Oh, is this where he runs into Luke, or she runs into Luke? The manager gave me the table at the far end of the shop, and for the most part I was left alone. She might have something to do about that as well, which I am also thankful for. Were it not for her, what's left of my morning and the rest of my afternoon might not have gone uneventful as it did. By sunset, I've already downed a few cups of coffee, informed Saint Garetti I'll be taking leave of absence today, and finished much of the tasks I've got scheduled today. Still pretty productive when everything's taken into account. All that's left for me to deal with is the mail, specifically the letter addressed from Mum and Dad, and the call I have to make of it because of it. I've been ignoring it the whole day, putting it off for one reason or another. Worried, afraid of what they'll hear in my voice after what last night. Of course, it's not like I'm used to be it's not like I'm not used to be caught in situations like this, or having to deliver news while feeling under the weather. This isn't the first time, after all. Over the years, this has become some sort of tradition because their time in the academy naturally brought with it connections. People from other fields, art, science, business, politics, you name it. Along with it are occasional invitations to go on parties or some gatherings. This one, though, gives off much personal vibe. Letters like this usually come from old students, people who've grown fond of my parents, and they in turn treat like children of their own. I've only met a few of them. Most have moved on to become successful in their chosen careers, and little letters like these are their way of expressing gratitude. It's one thing Mom and Dad are proud of, rightfully so, and I'm happy for them. But there are times I wish they'll remember they have a daughter here. The real one. It's not like they didn't raise me well and provided for me. They did. I wouldn't be where I am now if it weren't for their hard work. And like a dutiful child, I do everything I can to give back. Even if it's as small a thing as letting them know they've got another mail waiting for them. The phone rings for a good minute before someone answers. Mum, her voice is warm as I remember.
Becca?
Hi, Mum. How's the conference going?
Well enough. Until your dad sprained his ankle.
Oh no, is it bad?
I'm alright. In case anyone in this family cares to listen, I'm alright. Very much alive, darling.
And there you have it. He'll be up and walking in a few weeks, don't worry. We're going to have to extend our stay here until it heals, though. Is something the matter?
Nothing big. Just that mail arrived for you. I got it last night, but...
A lie. Thankfully, she doesn't notice. Although, if I'm going to be honest, a small part of me yearns for her to do so and ask me about it. But I put down that idea almost as soon as it surfaces. I shouldn't make them fret. They're busy.
What does it say?
Raise your glasses, give cheers to the good times, blah blah.
Becca manners. That isn't how I taught you to read.
Sorry. You are cordially... it's an invitation, Mum, for a housewarming party. From, Hannah?
The name rings a bell, though at the moment I can't recall when or where I've heard it recently. It must be nothing too important if I didn't bother committing it to memory. There are a lot of Hannahs in the world, so who knows?
Hannah.
She also wrote you a note, Mum. It says you used to be her private tutor at the Evans mansion, and that she misses you and would love to see you two again.
It makes my heart clench to read another openly say those words to them, and the same ones I want to tell them. I want to see you too. It's been years since we've been together as a family, and if there's one thing that hasn't changed from childhood, it's that Mom and Dad are still busy with their respective careers. Out of the country, away on some meeting or synopsis, sometimes for months on end. It only grew more frequent with the years until I'm old enough to live on my own. I'd like to think that's how I've been such independent at such an early age. They've always praised me for that. At times, I wish they didn't.
Evans? Oh, I remember now. Honey, it's Hannah. Hannah Evans. Remember? Bright girl, 2 years older than Becca?
Didn't she get married a few years ago? 7 now, I think. But, they grow up so fast, these kids.
Yeah, she invited us to that too. Fonte de Medici. But we missed that one because you had to present your paper in Singapore.
We did send her a note after. Still a shame we couldn't attend, though. What is it about this time?
She sent another invite for a housewarming party. Becca, When is it?
This Friday, Mum.
Oh, that's too bad. We'd love to be there, but Da's not in a condition to go walking around. I guess we'd have to decline again. I really miss that girl.
I could go in your place.
I let it slip without thinking. Personally, I've never been fond of gatherings, regardless of how simple people make it seem. But if there's one thing I hate hearing, that disappointed note in Mom's voice always rings first. Whether it's directed at me or some other thing doesn't matter.
Are you sure? Don't you have work this Friday?
The event will be in the evening, Mum. It shouldn't take anything away from my schedule. It's all right. The invite's for 2 people. I can bring someone with me so things don't get boring.
I see. Maybe you can also invite Ashton?
Mum, that's a sure no from him. He hates attending parties, but I'll see what I can do. If not, I can always
bring Isabella with me, is what I'd say, what I've gotten into the habit of saying recently. Turns out I'm going to have to grow out of that sooner than expected. Hastily, I correct myself before they note anything amiss in my tone.
I can always go alone. I'm a big girl now. I can handle these things. This isn't too much of a big deal.
Okay, if it's not going to be a big problem for you, I don't see why not. We owe you this one, darling.
Oh, well. You want to hear about Marianne's death? Well, basically, you know how this freaking banshee spirit ghost, whatever her freaking name is, I don't even know. Basically, she uses your background and your past and your fears and your worst nightmares and all the things that in your life that you're drawn to, and she tricks you into thinking that, well, in Hannah's and Luke's case, that she's something that she's not. Same with Marianne's case. She portrayed herself, or shapeshifted rather, into her childhood friend Lorraine, who she was in love with. Marianne and Lorraine. Marianne was in love with her but rejected her. Yeah, she impersonated Lorraine. Basically, it was Marianne went down into the wine cellar or whatever, and Lorraine, just to see Lorraine one last time in the mirror, and saw her in the mirror, and they were talking, and then Marianne's like, this really isn't real, you're dead, I buried you. And then Lorraine's like, but now you can be with me forever. And there was a choice where you could either stay with her or leave, and if you chose stay with her, then basically Lorraine suggests that the only way that she'll ever forgive Marianne is if Marianne kills herself. So what Lorraine does is Lorraine stands behind her, picks up a glass shard, puts it in her hands, and helps her stab herself. So yeah. Basically, she stabs herself to death in the neck. So that's how Marianne dies.
No problem, Mum. I'll even say hi to Hannah for you.
Please do. And let her know we'd love to see her once we're back in the city. Leave her our number or something.
I will.
But you know, the 2 of you would have become really good friends. Don't you remember? You met with her once. If my memory serves me right, you were 12 then?
This too, I can't recall. It's probably one of those meetings where we only talked a bit before going on our ways. If she did leave an impression, I'm pretty sure I would have written about it somewhere, or at least recognized her name. As it is, the only few people I remember clearly from that time in my life is Ashton and Mandy. To some extent. Mom must have sensed my confusion because she laughs.
Don't push yourself too hard, darling. Really? It felt like having 2 daughters back then. Still, try talking to her while you're there.
Oh, we'll see. I'll let you know what happens after.
I'm looking forward to it, darling. Take care of yourself.
Will do. You too, Mum. Bye. Tell Da to be careful next time.
She chuckles, then a hearty one. Tender and light, always on my ears. She may be a stern teacher, but this is the part of her I love the most. The sound of it still echoes, even as her call comes to an abrupt end, bringing with it a memory from so many years ago, when life and responsibilities that accompany adulthood are things far from our minds. If given the chance, I'd love to go back to those. don't dwell on it though, shaking it all away almost as soon as the memory forms a clear picture in my head. I've always wondered how Isabella can easily pretend everything's normal over a phone call, then bounce back to her usual self immediately after. I've seen her do it plenty of times. For me, it just drains whatever energy I have. Soon I'm leaning forward on a table, cushioning my head against arms and closing my eyes. The last sound I hear is the news, the same headline from this morning.
The authorities are still trying to find the cause of death for all the victims. Early investigation revealed most of them were employed under Briar Realty Corporation at the time of death. Meanwhile, BRC has refused to comment on this.
Before I drift off to sleep. Something reeks. A heavy, festering scent clinging to the air, wrapping itself around me like little tendrils I'm unable to shake off. Like fingers curling around my neck, twisting, winding. I can almost taste it in my mouth. At my feet, water laps against my ankles, and with every step, every ripple created, the stench only grows stronger. But I push on, pulled further by an indistinct voice in the distance.
No, I'm not at the office! Ugh! Never mind! We're not safe! Not anywhere!
Yup, Lorraine convinced Marianne to commit Sudoku. She got all the numbers tied and crossed, and she gave up. The clutter that greets me inside is familiar. The empty noodle cup stacked on one end, yet to be disposed for some mundane reason. Pile of clothes to be pressed and folded. She'll get to it later, she promised. Files and papers strewn about the limited space she has, all because she needs to take her work home sometimes.
You didn't see what's in her room! That's not something another human being would do! Come on, Rebecca! You have to believe me this time!
It's stronger here, the smell. More suffocating, more invading. But there at the far corner she sits, bent over the mess littering atop of her work desk, nose almost touching the papers on it. I call out to her. Once, twice, my voice only brimming with anger and frustration.
You're still not going to believe me, even if someone else already died, no?
She does not respond. Something heavy lodges itself to my throat. The sound of my heartbeat thrashes against my ears. Please tell me we're not going to see her again. With a trembling hand, I reach for her shoulder, and gently as I can, I turn her around.
No. No. I'm sorry.
Alright, well, for those of you that, missed seeing Isabella dead, well, there it is. By far the most horrifying thing I've seen in this game so far. It's, right now, it's just really sad.
Wake up, please. Wake up.
And this is the reason why she's dead. It's your fault, because you were such an ass to her. And yeah, you should have a nightmare every night about that. With my heart hammering hard against my chest and my lungs threatening to strain themselves from sheer force of breathing.
Stop. Stop thinking about it, Becca.
It takes a while before reality once again sets in for me to remember where I am. Here, there's none of that clutter. No unkempt bed she keeps forgetting to put in order. No papers littering every other surface my eyes can reach. No clothes left in a jumble piled somewhere. No empty instant noodle cups I used to remind her to clean up every other day. Only tables carefully let out for the customers, the soundless whir of the ceiling fans above, the murmurs of people dining in, and the strong fragrance of coffee and freshly baked pastries. A sense of sharp relief overcomes me and a long-held breath escapes.
It'll pass. This'll pass.
Close by, I can sense the manager eyeing me with a concerned glance. Beside her, the night shift guy at the counter is doing the same thing, his eyes darting from the telly in the kitchen and me. I brush it all away with a wave of my hand and start gathering my things. I am out the door into the busy, Luxembourg night streets before they begin asking questions. Before yesterday's ghost can catch up to me. And yet, I end up back here. It's quiet now. From where I stand on the opposite side of the street, only the forensics and the scene investigators are moving in and out of the place. There are a few onlookers, sure, but none of them dare come close unlike the last time. Some reporters are still asking the one on duty questions, jotting down notes from time to time, taking curious glances around. But otherwise everything's peaceful in the area despite the hubbub this morning. If I squint, I can probably pretend things have gone back to normal after a day. However, until now, the memories are fresh. Even the smell of blood seems to linger in the air, holding on to it, clinging to it like a bitter reminder of what we lost in a single night. Crivens, the smell is yet to wash out from my hands. I've tried, burned through a whole bottle of soap at the end, only for the scent to last no more than a few hours. Then there's the images. That single instant when I touched her shoulders, the lifeless look in her eyes when her head lobbed backwards and her arms fell lifelessly to her sides. However, more than that, more than I care to confess, is the guilt, and it feels more real than the center of the memories. And it should. We fought that morning, outright shouted at each other.
Would it have changed anything if we didn't?
If I had treated her idea as real or not with less harshness, would anything have changed?
Would she still be here?
I guess I'll never know now. I let out another sigh, another reprieve from what's weighing down on me, one of the many things I've been allowing to slip from my mouth lately. In a few days, they'll finally allow us back here to return to our lives, and for those who are left behind, to begin the process of mending. By then, will accepting be a little easier? I'd like to believe so. Suddenly exhausted, I begin my walk back to my temporary home, where I can pretend this all never happened before reality kicks in again. Not a very good way of coping with things. But short of crossing the street, a voice rings out, cutting through the thick silence, stopping me in my tracks. It's either Zach or Ash. My bet is Ash.
What? Wait, Chief, no!
Frey, listen first.
You're in on this, aren't you?
Watch your tone, Frey. This isn't up for discussion.
It's Ash being taken off the case. Close reveals 3 people standing near a police mobile. One of them is Ashton and LPD's chief inspector? The mobile blocks my view of the third person, but judging from the voice alone, it's Inspector Abigail. It appears to be some kind of regular police talk, but with the tone and how loud they're all speaking, it's close to bringing into a full-blown argument. Ashton in particular looks as if he wants to punch something. Or someone.
I was assigned here, Chief.
And might I remind you again, I can very well reassign you someplace else if you don't listen. Much less keep yourself in check.
I heard you the first time. I just don't see why there's a need for this. I'm doing my job, aren't I?
Of course you don't see it. Should I give you a quick briefing? You snapped at a grand total of 5 people today. 5. Record-breaking, really, when it was at 0 before. That doesn't count the ones from the forensics company, by the way.
No one's asking, Abigail.
Have you taken a look at yourself since this morning? I think Officer Carl might be a little afraid of you now, in fact. First time you lashed out on him like that. Actually, that was the first time we ever heard you lash out at anyone, and I must admit that was quite a show while it lasted.
I did not lash out at off. Stop exaggerating things.
Oh, do you want to bet on that? Because I'm in serious need of cash right now.
Kind of lashing out at them now.
Christ, Abigail, I already told you it was just—
Or is it because of the victim? I heard you were friends with her, but this is getting a bit out of hand for a friend, don't you think? Is there something you're not telling us?
He falters into silence. A pained expression falls across his face as his hands clench into his fists. It doesn't last, but in that short second I caught a glimpse of what he's been thinking, what's been going through his mind this entire time. Just like the night before and the last glimpse of him with his back turned against me. But to see it up close, so openly displayed in front of other people, is an entirely different thing. He's never once let his walls down like that. Now it's falling apart piece by piece without his meaning to.
That's none of your business.
Oh, no, it is my business, all right? I'm the one running this investigation, and you know how I do everything. This one most certainly does not have a place for young detectives with a bloody temper. You better stand down, hotshot, or I'm kicking you out with or without Chief here. My crime scene, my rules.
I don't have a fucking bloody temper.
Enough! Frey, get out of here. Take a chill pill. I don't need someone reckless running around this crime scene right now.
Chief, you can't be serious.
I am, I can, and I just did.
You're gonna make it worse, Ash.
Go on, out of this place, out of my sight.
I'm in the middle of—
Pass it to— She'll handle this for now until, I don't know, till your head's back in its proper place.
No, you can't.
Frey, this is an order. Take A bloody chill pill. Or go get some coffee, ice cream, whatever it is you like to eat. I don't care, as long as you clear your head. Come back when you've stopped looking like you want to dismember the person next to you. Is that clear?
Chief, please. Not this case. I
asked. Did I make myself clear, Detective Inspector?
Another pause, this one far heavier than the previous, and bears the weight of his complete resignation on the matter. He doesn't look them in the eye when he answers, nor does his tone carry any of the prostrations. Ash, you need a break. You can't keep doing this to yourself. It's gonna tear you apart if you keep going. But his wall's back.
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
I did not hear you.
Loud and clear, sir.
Good kid. Off you go.
Alright.
I don't want to see your pretty mug here in the next few hours. You're dismissed.
Yes, sir.
Except this time it had been rebuilt in the wrong place at the wrong time for an entirely different reason. Knowing him when it's like this, it will not hold long.
Don't worry about missing out on anything. I'll keep you updated once you return, alright? Take a break for now. You haven't slept since last night.
Thanks.
They leave him after a pat to the back and nothing else. Ash flew off the handles. After a restless night, a brief talk with her parents about the housewarming party invitation, and a failed attempt at going back to her normal routine, Rebecca returned to Salemwell. There she overheard a conversation between Ashton, Inspector Abigail, and the Chief Inspector. Alright. But anger and frustration together are cold, ugly things to carry, much less to swallow. For someone like Ashton, coping with it is a whole different uphill climb. His is not the kind that fades away with time or nor easily forgotten. It's the sort that he keeps close, allows to fester and drive him. But when does that not work? But when that doesn't work, when all of what keeps his mind occupied is taken from him, he's nothing but lost. That anger too loses its direction. So he fumes, stalks off to some place where he can be alone, where he can find something to vent it out on, where people won't see more of him beyond what he chooses to show. If that doesn't work either, he'll go back to the first step and do everything again, all until everything becomes a vicious cycle and eats him whole, changes him entirely as a person. Yeah, I'm trying to go to the bad ending here, or whatever the worst ending I can get is. I'm not sure if the worst ending I can get involves all the characters dying, like if I had to kill off Hannah, or if Hannah being possessed matters at all. But I'm killing off everybody and keeping Hannah possessed. We'll see what happens. He hates it when people meddle, he hates it when more people see him like this, but this isn't something he has to carry alone. This too is ours to bear. I won't let him suffer this alone. With that in mind, I follow after him. Minutes later, I finally track Ashton down at a nearby park. And this is why this game is so awesome, because there are so many scenes in the second playthrough of this game that I've never seen before. Like, basically all of Becca's routes so far I haven't seen. It's all because there's just so many branching routes here. It's pretty awesome. He can't sit still, pacing back and forth, running a hand through his hair in a gesture of frustration every other pass he makes. At some point, he decides to take it out on a poor park bench, only for his foot to regret it all afterwards. He returns to pacing then, has been at it for the last 5 minutes, and at this point, he might end up digging a trench on the ground if he doesn't let up.
Someone should stop him.
You stop him. When I followed him here, I've intended to put an end to this, had a whole speech prepared for him. But now that I'm standing in close proximity to his temper, to him, I can't bring myself to even approach. My feet simply moved the instant I saw him. Before long, my only resolve starts to wane, gradually fading underneath the uncertainties. What will he think? Will he appreciate this? He hates it when people interfere with his affairs, and here I am barging in on his business as if it's something I'm entitled to share. Oh, and yeah, this kind of makes it all the more... I know what's going through his head, because this is the first playthrough. I didn't get the scene, but this playthrough on Isabella's route, I got the scene where she kisses him on the cheek in her chapter, and then she dies. When did I start thinking this way? When did I start thinking this is okay?
Why did I think this would be a good idea?
I'm stepping back before I know it, although I don't make it far. In my rush, I accidentally step on a stray wrapper that somehow missed the trash. It crunches under my foot, and in the stillness of the park at this time, it's loud enough to disturb. Ashton halts, looks up, his vexed expression making way for bewilderment.
You aren't supposed to be here.
It isn't meant to be an accusation or to be taken like one. It's a simple statement, yet it sounds far from it all the same, a simple question underneath. Facing it now, I hesitate. Alright, I'm saving here. I can't sleep, I heard you know. Let's take a look at this branching tree here. Wrong button. Where are we? Holy crap, I'm really not far at all. This route is so freaking long. Oh god. I'm not sure how oh, it's all that skipping I took, I think, when I did this the first time. There's a lot I was able to skip through, I think. Huge, long, white lines. Alright. Where are we? Okay, we're gonna take the route that,
I heard you know.
yeah, that goes down. I'm loading this up. And I'm choosing I can't sleep because I want my favor with Ash to go up. And yeah, I'm in chapter 5. For all my bravado, for all the things I keep telling myself, I don't want to answer the unspoken question in it, nor face his anger and sorrow or what I will see beyond it. We may be in the same boat, but we have our own ways of dealing with this, of living through this until we got that sense of normalcy back. But I also know I can't leave him with these ghosts. So I talk, a weak attempt to fill the awkward silence, but so long as it takes him, us, away from falling into that chasm, this'll do.
Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you.
Don't you usually avoid these parts at night?
I just couldn't sleep tonight. So I decided to take a walk. I didn't think I'd find you here. Considering what happened last night. I thought you'd be busy.
Not a complete lie, but when all he gives me for a response is a stare almost close to a blank look, I think for a second he found me out. Eventually, he simply nods and exhales.
Bad dream?
Yeah, kind of.
I thought as much.
I frown at him, confused at his blasé reply, until I remember. He's already seen more dead bodies in his life compared to what my eyes have seen. It comes in his line of work. Bloody hell, he has a forensic science degree under his belt. At some point, he must have likely worked on a cadaver before he even got out of the university. He's also been assigned to cases like this before, witnessed close families, relatives, friends go through this. None of it is surprising to him. But what if it's of a friend or someone he knows and has been close to for years? Won't it change anything?
Does it ever get easy?
Depends on who you're asking.
I mean, I'm pretty sure this isn't the first time you've seen something like that.
I trail off, unable to continue, careful of this talk going into territory that will create bigger wounds. Ashton, on the other hand, takes a long minute to answer, like he's weighing his next words, choosing it deliberately. Then he stuffs his hands inside his pockets and looks away at some far-off point beside him, looking at it intently as though he's seeing something there that I couldn't. His answer comes in the form of a shrug and a voice almost too quiet, too somber.
You get used to it. Eventually.
I suppose. There isn't any other way around this, huh?
No, there isn't. Unfortunately. But you'll stop caring after the second or third time. The next thing you know, all of them just looks the same as the others in your eyes. All unfortunate victims.
Perhaps it is his tone or his manner of avoiding my eyes when he says that. But before I can think on it, choose my words in the same careful way he did earlier, I let my emotions get ahead of me.
Hold on. Wait, is that what this is, then? What she is now? To you? Just a victim? Just some dead body?
He answers with more silence, and my temper, despite myself,
The
flares.
victim has a name, Ash, and that victim is your friend. Why is it so difficult to say her name now when you've done it plenty of times before?
Rebecca is so thick-headed. She's so dense. My gosh, get her out of here.
Does it matter now? She's gone. Even Zach made a bigger issue out of that. There are other things you two should really be.
It does matter. To you, it does. For a long time.
You've always seen her in a different light. Far different from the way he'd look at other people, Zachary or me. Always with the tiny gleam in his eyes, the darting glances, and the kind smiles. Little things, little gestures. To others it may seem nothing, but to him it means the whole world, because it's the only way he can say anything, everything, without fumbling or losing his nerves. Right from the very start. And I don't need to ask the why. I've always had an inkling. The thought has always been there, hiding, tucked, and neatly sealed away at the back of my mind in the same manner he keeps his own secrets close to himself. Which is why, when he swallows hard, allows his arms to fall limp to his sides, and shifts his gaze away, there's no jolt, no surprise in me. Just a slow, painful, burning realization of a truth long held. A feeling's never meant to be for me. And yet in the end...
Like I said, it doesn't matter. You guys need to understand that whatever I say or do right now, this case isn't going to solve itself.
In the end, it's him who cowers from it.
You keep on saying case this, case that. But this isn't just about the bloody investigation anymore, is it?
Well, you seem to have a better idea what it is. Why don't you lay it all out to me, so I'll understand? Maybe I'm missing something, because honestly, I don't know what else this could be, other than what we've been telling the press. A fucking homicide case. The victim was murdered, and if you bring up that stupid letter again...
Will you quit saying that?
But what do you want me to say then?
Stop lying to yourself!
Alright. Rebecca, I give you props here because he needs to not lie to himself. He can't just lock this away in himself.
I'm lying? Becca, look here,
No! Enough! Enough with your cool act! I'm having none of it! You listen, and you listen good!
Wow, she's scary.
Stop this! Stop lying! Stop telling yourself everything and this is normal for you! Because it's not! It never was! It never will be!
Rebecca, I think you need to calm...
Stop pretending Isabella no longer equates into all of this just because she's gone! Because that is a big, fat lie coming from you! She matters because it's her! She always did! No one else! Or you! She always did!
The very meaning behind it freezes him into place, and any excuse or diversion dies on his tongue. There's more to it, however. Beyond his unmoving stance and his sudden, unfocused stare, there's understanding and fear. He's aware I'm right, and every word I'm about to articulate are the very same ones he's been avoiding. But these need to be said, even if it means having him face the unpleasant.
Regardless of what you're telling me or Zachary, I know that out of all of us, you're the one taking this the hardest.
I allow my voice to fade into the night, into the chilly air blowing in the distance between us, cold, sharp, unforgiving, much like the truths we have to face. Ashton is silent for some time, but the earlier shock in his face has given way to something flaccid, subdued. And when that silence becomes too unbearable for him as well, he forces himself to move to pace, treading the ground once more, one perturbed footstep after another, and running a furious hat to his hair before dropping it to his side. Later, when that too turns inadequate, he gives the park bench another good kick. This time, if it brings any pain to him, he simply takes it all in as if that alone will dull the other pain.
Fuck.
Regardless, he continues, but this time there's something in his voice. A bitter note dropping to nothing more than whispers he mutters to himself. The sound meant only for his ears to hear, but reverberates clearly in park stillness.
Ash, maybe you should...
Damn it, god damn it! I was hoping! Damn it, I was hoping for her to...
His throat closes up. His words choke off, getting lost in his sorrow. Unable to continue, he passes a hand over his eyes instead, letting out a slow, ragged breath that brings him neither a sense of comfort nor relief. It's simply another reminder of what he failed to do.
I couldn't even... Damn it, all these years, I keep telling myself she's... that I loved, and yet I couldn't even.
And this is when he breaks.
I knew this was going to be a difficult case. The moment I saw it, I knew. There was barely any evidence. Not even a sign of someone else breaking in. And she's just there. I've been at this since last night, and I couldn't find anything that would help. I hate this. I hate feeling this stupid, this helpless. I can't even begin to imagine what she felt before she... And right after I made that promise, she could count on me. Damn it, if only I'd... Figures, huh? Turns out I'll mess this up too, huh?
Vanport, you're an idiot. Of course I'd know how you're feeling about this. Who do you think I am? We grew up together, didn't we? I know you better than anyone. Stop forgetting stuff like that. Drill it into your head if you must.
Most heart-wrenching scene in the game. Not completely, though. Even with this, it'll take longer for everything to fade. And neither will it be easily forgotten, especially when it's taken root so deeply in our lives. But he's calm now. It's better this way. Because only in the aftermath is when he'll learn to deal, to cope.
Is it going to be okay now?
It's a start. I can't always walk him through this. He knows that too. So, when he answers, he asks nothing more of me. And he only answers in the best manner he can without reverting back to anger or locking himself away. Alright. If he's actually... I'm praying to God that this isn't her just trying to make her move, because that would be so awful. Oh, my best friend is dead and she loved my childhood friend, or my childhood friend loved her, so, oh, now I can have him. Yeah, why don't we go with that? I don't think... Despite how much of an asshole Becca can come off as, I don't think she's that heartless.
Yeah, a little, I guess. I don't know.
I'm not planning to save Ash and Becca. You know what? I might kill Becca and save Ash. I'm not sure if I want to save Ash, though. I mean, I want to save him, but my goal was to kill off all the characters.
This is... It'll take some time.
Let's check out this tree. Alright. What, we're almost a quarter of the way? We're not even a quarter of the way. This is like a fifth. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, not a fifth. It's like a sixth. Ashton's... I can't see how long their chapters are. Bummer.
There's still the investigation and the evidence, if we can even find any. Plus, the lab still has to test everything.
If we ever find one decent enough to... what? That's not what he said, but okay.
Ash, I'm not asking about the case. Although that's important, trust me. I want to know who did this as much as you do. At least then, I'll have a proper reason to hit someone. But I'm asking about you. Are you going to be okay?
Another mirthless expression flickers shortly across his features before he looks away, his eyes focusing on some distant area of the park. There's a hint of yearning in them, probably searching for that one person who could never be there from now on. It's gone, and he's already talking in the next second before I can prompt him.
I'll be fine. A bit of adjustment here and there, maybe. I'll be okay. I've survived worse things.
I mean, I don't know what would be worse than somebody you love dying, but... Alright. I doubt he believes those, but I don't question him further on it, and neither does he let me.
But thanks for asking. And for this. Sorry you had to see me like that.
What? Don't be so embarrassed about it now. This isn't the first time, remember? Back in secondary, if I recall, someone had to snap you out of that sulk, too.
Yeah. No. No. Don't remind me. And don't sound so proud of it.
Why not? I mean, you've done more embarrassing things in front of other people, and I always have to—
That's the point. It's embarrassing.
Oh, come on. Now you're feeling ashamed about it? For the record, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. But let's just leave it there, Becca. And if you can, if possible, can you not... Don't mention this to Zach. For now. I'll never hear the end of it.
To be honest, I really don't care about seeing Ash x Becca because I don't like Becca. Ash x Isabella and... Isabella and Zach together. Those are probably the best two pairs. If I would put Becca with anybody, it would be with Luke. I'll put her with Hannah. Becca and Hannah. Oh god. There are a lot of things he intentionally leaves out in that. So many things he refuses to tell, and it's all being hidden under that false front. His hesitance alone, the shift in his tone from that banner, speaks volumes. Zachary has never been one to easily judge people. It's part of the reason why Ashton hangs out with him despite their rather disastrous first meeting. The big guy learning about this little episode won't make any difference nor even change things around them. It's just one of the many things that they learn to accept or in some cases tolerate about each other. Of course, it doesn't mean things like the punching incident this morning never occurs. That doesn't mean it can't be easily fixed though. Sometimes, all they need is a little push. Kids.
Zachary will understand.
Yeah, I know that. But I'd rather talk to him in person first. about other things. And when we're in better terms, maybe we can laugh about this. But right now...
Laugh about it? Oh boy.
I won't mention anything. Don't worry. Though, like I said, Zachary will understand. You are just doing your job, and that kind of news isn't easy to swallow. Anyone would have reacted that way, even if it's someone like Zach. In fact, if I didn't know the big guy, he's probably feeling guilty about it like you're doing now. Trust me, it'll be okay.
Oh, laugh about the fight that they had, not about the death. Okay. I was gonna say. Even if things appear a wee bit bleaker than it should be, or were people rarely inclined to hope blindly. That kind of predisposition has always been Isabella's or Zach's department, never from us who sticks to facts and what we see in front of us. Alright. So, Zach in this timeline dies when he goes to check out the mansion for a second time, I believe. I think it's either the 26th or the 27th. And he thinks Ash is there. But then he hears the crying woman from the window. So he looks up into it, and he climbs in. And the freaking butler's there, clocks him in the head. He wakes up in the prison. In an actual jail cell, like at the police station for trespassing. In my playthrough, he died to possessed Hannah. But in the playthrough where Hannah dies, or in the playthrough where... There's the playthrough where Hannah dies, and the playthrough where Hannah doesn't become possessed and lives. Zach just dies to the crazy spirit. Non-possessed Hannah. But in this one, yeah, possessed Hannah kills him. What is there left to lose? We don't stay long. Oh, I passed it. A fuming Ashton marched off to the park after his temporary dismissal from Isabella's case. Rebecca follows after him, and the two end up in spat over Ashton's cold and distant attitude. When all was said and done, Ashton reached his breaking point. This is the one thing I appreciate about Becca. She's not afraid to say what she thinks, even if it goes and kinda might hurt people. She tells people not necessarily what they want to hear, but what they need to hear. Even if she can be an ass about it sometimes. We don't stay long. The evening might be pleasant, and the park offers a peaceful enough place to muse on things, but we have work to do. Both of us. And though Ashton doesn't openly express it, I know he still wishes to be alone after this and mourn in his own way. The heaviest of his burden might have already lifted, but there are parts he continues to hold, bits and pieces more difficult to let go of. Those are the ones I can never reach, and in spite of the fact that the mere thought of it sends my heart clenching, I can't bring myself to begrudge him over it. In this way, we are the same. Some wounds simply take longer to heal. Which is why I don't stop him, and quietly we part ways. He goes straight off to Salenwell again, only leaving me a small promise to get to the bottom of this while I head back to the city proper, where an unfamiliar room and more awful dreams probably wait for me. And perhaps it's exactly the fear of being left with these thoughts on my own that lead me back to the cafe instead.
Delaying the inevitable, they say.
Less time to think about these things as long as I'm awake, moving, and in the company of other people. At this hour, the cafe is usually filled to the brim with people. Alright, where are we? Yep, we've still made it nowhere. I don't know what the bottom route here is, but... Jesus, the route is long. At this hour, the cave is usually filled to the brim with people. That's the reason Isabella and I rarely ever go here during the evenings. It's simply too much of a hassle when we can prepare food ourselves in the comfort of our own homes, and there really isn't much of a reason to eat out lately. What, with life going on a busy streak? No time for long lines. Better spend that time doing something productive, yeah?
Lucky there isn't one tonight.
Only a few people are idling around the counter. 4 of them, in fact. A woman in her 60s and a teenager busy with his phone. Both are just waiting to be served their orders. The other 2, a posh-looking man and a child, who I immediately recognize as Kylie, appear to have not yet picked anything they want. Alright, question is... this was kind of annoying. Let's see what happens with the story update. For some reason, my stare lingers at the guy. Though dressed relatively well and harmless, I haven't seen him around these parts before. Someone new in the neighborhood, perhaps. Even so, there's something familiar in him. It feels like I've seen him somewhere before. That also begs the question of why Kylie is with him. Of course, the girl easily takes a liking to anyone who buys her sweets, so it's both a bit of worrisome and unsurprising. The blonde bloke doesn't look particularly thrilled with the company, though. I turn my eyes away from them enough as once the guy at the counter appears ready to take my order. That, and I'd also hate to be accused of ogling strangers.
Irish stew. Just for one person.
He quickly raises an eyebrow at that, while I swiftly avert my eyes down to my hands, although I don't miss the consoling look he gives me. I rarely visit alone if I can help it. Often it's always with Isabella. She can be a bad influence sometimes. But that's precisely why this guy has known us long enough that if I ever drop by her alone, he already has a number of ideas why. Doubtless he's already heard what's happened in the news. No need to bring it up in something as casual as ordering food. There's proper time and place for grief and empty sympathies. He gives me a small smile before leaving to prepare my order, while I fish for my wallet
Look, you little ankle biter. If I buy you the biggest parfait they have, will you please behave? I would just like 10 minutes of peace and quiet.
You said you'll get me some bread pudding this time.
Yeah, well, darling, they said they ran out of it. Just pick another one so we can be on our way.
That parfait doesn't look as cute as the one my mom bought me.
Parfait is just ice cream, sweetheart. It'll melt no matter how dainty it appears. In the end, it'll all look like an ugly puddle. Now come on, just pick one. It could even be the most expensive one on that list. I don't give a shit care. I don't care. Oh, what I would give for someone to buy you off my hands right now.
What? My whole attention instantly snaps back to them in their conversation. Jumping to conclusions isn't something I'm particularly fond of, especially when all I have are baseless assumptions, but you can't really trust a stranger these days. No one around the cafe seems to have noticed his words either. Very suspicious words. Okay, for me it just sounds like he's babysitting her and is sick of dealing with her. Still, I don't move yet, but my hand already has shifted from my wallet to the book I'm carrying. A hardbound textbook looks harmless, but if the situation calls for it, it might be a good deadly weapon. Might. I haven't gotten the chance to try it anywhere so far. Today could be the day.
But you promised.
Look, if you don't want a parfait, how about a Bonifay pie? I'm sure it'll taste just as good as any other bread pudding. I'll even buy you the entire tray. How does that sound?
That's not what you said before.
Well, sweetheart, adults change their minds sometimes.
You said if I come with you, you'll buy me a bread pudding, and I did, and now you won't keep your promise.
How can he buy you a bread pudding if they're out of bread pudding? Doesn't sound like his fault.
I want to go home. I miss my mom.
No, darling, if I remember correctly, and I have a good memory, honey. What I said was, if you come quietly with me, I might buy you one. The quiet part didn't happen. Though now that I'm sober, I think this is a bad idea. And I should just ship you someplace else for that peace and quiet.
Oh, that's it. Okay, if he wants to get rid of her, why would you think he was a kidnapper? I don't understand. No hesitation. In a few pieces, he's within my reach, and without warning, I'm slamming the flat area of the book against his skull.
Ow!
There's a cry of pain, followed by him instantly crouching down, his hands nursing the sore spot. Almost comically, if this were a different situation, the safety of St. Garetti student isn't at stake, I'd probably feel sorry for him. I mean, has anyone seen how thick this book is?
Get behind me, Kylie.
Yeah, we took the bottom path here. It's amusing how fast her expression changes from the pouty one earlier to something that of utter delight upon seeing me. But there's no time for any pleasantries, not even quick ones, because soon the man strains and I'm readying my newfound weapon for another hit. Except this time he's ready, and before I can land another one, his hand shoots up to catch my wrist in a firm hold. Music cut to dramatic music. Dramatic violin music. On play. And the look on his face!
Hell, woman, what's your problem?
To say he's pissed would be a complete understatement. Had I been the weak-willed sort, I'd probably cower under his sharp gaze. But that simply isn't how I roll. If he thinks he can scare me and do as he pleases here, just because I'm a woman or whatever his reasons may be, he's got another thing coming for him. So instead, I return it to him with the same intensity, with the same venom. Find out next time on... No.
What's my problem? You're the one who has a problem here. Rotten bowbags like you don't deserve the freedom to run this town. What are you doing to this girl?
And why is that any of your business, pray tell?
Oh, it's my business if I make it to be. Now, release me or I'll call the police.
You think that scares me, Daisy?
Kidnapper.
I have a name, you sleazy douchebag.
Oh, I'm sure.
Changes from kidnapper to sleazy douche. His grip on my hand only tightens when I attempt to shake it off. His tone may be dripping with anger and sarcasm, but the gleam in his eyes says it all. He's getting a kick out of this. Riling people up, getting on their nerves, invading their personal space. He knows exactly what and which buttons to push. The nerve of this person. The nerve of this arsehole. If he thinks I'm going to give in to his goading, please, he might as well kiss his sorry behind. In fact, why not do the most sensible thing right now? Teach him a tough lesson. Branching tree. Branching tree. Branching tree on the wall. Yeah, they're in a cafe. Don't you know? Fights and brawls breaking out in cafes is, it's, you know, popular these days.
Mister, you have until the count of 5 to let me go and step out of my personal space.
Looks like we're gonna kick him in the nutsack. Fair warning. Fairer than any I can offer for people of his kind, and I'm already being considerate. Hell, this arsehole doesn't even deserve a warning. Even if he doesn't listen, well, he's much responsible for what will happen next as anyone.
Or else what? Such vulgar words coming out of that pretty mouth. A gorgeous flower like you shouldn't even be saying.
Cue immense pain in 3, 2, 1.
Don't say I didn't warn you, bowbag.
Love that intensity, Daisy. FYI, I like feisty in a woman. It gives them this certain charm. Why don't you?
5.
A second of silence. Then, without any preamble, my leg moves in one fluid motion and deserves a powerful, well-placed kick to his nether regions. Achievement gathered. Nuts and bolts. Needless to say, this effect is instantaneous. He yelps abruptly, drops his hold on me, and kneels over, howling from the pain. I can see tears forming at the corner of his eyes, too, though the mere sight of it prompts not an ounce of remorse from me. That's one thing you never do to a man. You never kick him there. I would have been gentler if he isn't such a dirty little prick with an ego too big for his head. Too bad. Whether this obliterates any chance of him ever procreating remains to be known, but a part of me is already praying he doesn't ever breed after this. We have no more need of him in this world.
You mad woman!
I warned you, you ass!
Why, this is harassment, I'm telling you! Harassment!
Then why don't you tell that to the police once they get here,
You despicable! Whatever you're assuming I am, I'll have you know it's all in your head. None of it's true. You best have that pretty brain of yours checked before that gets worse. What is wrong with you? Is this the face of someone who...
We're skipping past this, because it was annoying. Alright, we're gonna apologize to Luke. Though it pains me to apologize to a sleazebag like him, this is my mistake. With Kylie watching us close by, I don't want to set a bad example for her, do I? I think, yeah, goes up with Luke. And we're gonna skip past this. We never got around it before, and now we've all lost the chance. What, to hang out all together with Isabella? Yeah. Even so, I find myself enjoying this despite being told it's only half the experience. Little things, you know? Stuff you learn to appreciate when you're alone. Because at certain times, you get to meet people who are unfortunately born with the innate talent to ruin the mood and the scene with their mere existence alone. For example, the very driver of the car fast approaching my direction. Luckily, he doesn't notice me. But the fleeting moments we pass each other by gives me the brief glance of people he's with. Kylie's sitting on the back seat with a serving of bread pudding in her hands. And beside him, must be his wife. Oh yeah, that creepy face, you know. Definitely his wife. Long black hair, red eyes, yeah. Wife material. He takes a turn and disappears at the nearest corner. But throughout the night, the cursory glimpse of all things bother me is left wondering what kind of person his wife is. And more than that, it's a silent prayer to the universe. I hope I don't ever cross paths with that douche again. Let's see if there's anything we can kind of, you know, skip our way past here. Oh, no. We're as nice as it can get under the shadow of Isabella's recent passing hovering over our heads. There have been no updates from Ashton either, despite his promise. Where are we here? Alright, we're here. We're not on the bottom one, we're in the center one, and it doesn't look like there's much to do here. When he breaks the silence, it's only to deliver a short message from LPD allowing Salem Wells tenants to return to their flats tonight. Somehow, with that, it feels like the whole of Luxembourg, the whole world even, at last has chosen to move on its own again. Onwards to a different, more important things that really matter to general public. Yet something still lingers.
Like an ugly premonition.
And as expected, just as things start to settle and the settled rhythm finally worms its way back to my routine, Thursday morning brings further disturbance to the now calm waters. With little ceremony, though still enough to ripple through everything. In retrospect, I really should have seen this coming. Luxembourg is a small city, relatively speaking. Compared to, say, London or Glasgow, it's nothing but a tiny mass of land boasting a mere population of 68,000. Oh, a mere population of 68,000. Yeah, that's like nothing, right? But those numbers alone are nothing to scoff at when standing in a busy street. And when if you pay close enough attention, faces taking the crosswalk or riding the subway will soon grow familiar. How unfortunate out of that number, it has to be Tio fucking Luke I encounter more than once.
Oh, you know, a few problems popping up here and there that the agents failed to...
I'm skipping past this because this was annoying too. We meet him in the hallway with Kylie. Let's see, where are we? Branching tree. We're gonna skip past this even more because this was annoying, and I don't like Luke. Well, he's not bad, but Kylie's annoying. Oh, yeah, and then this. They go into the bathroom and... she turns into Demon Child. Yep, Spirit is probably using her body to kill people if Hannah gets possessed in this one. I have been flipping through the pages of said book moments ago, though never really reading anything and merely hoping for a distraction. To no avail. My phone gives out another ring, and this time I do not hesitate to answer.
Hello! Here I was starting to wonder if it was a bad time to call. Is it?
No, not at all. I dismissed my last class a few minutes ago. I'm pretty much free for the rest of the afternoon, unless something comes up. Is this about last time? The book?
Marianne and Zach both end up dying soon.
Not really. I was hoping to ask you about some other thing.
Oh?
You grew up in this city,
Oh,
didn't
this
you?
was her call about, the mansion. Skipping past this. Oh, hey Becca, I'll be around Salemville this evening. Need to meet someone in the area. I might have to drop by yours and Isabella's place after. See you. Looks like that wasn't changed. Sorry, I slipped the gadget back to my pocket, but looking up to see Luke's utter impatience on his face, I now face a different dilemma. They're waiting to see if she'll come back for dinner with them, or if she's just going home. Maybe I don't get to choose here. I don't know. I have other things to do. Oh, okay. All to please his godchild. I have other things to do. Do we go back for dinner, or do we not? Well, there are a lot of freaking blank spots here. On the top one, there's stuff that hasn't been done, and on the bottom one, there's stuff that hasn't been done. To be honest, I really want to talk more with Ashton, and I think I have other things to do is the better one here. Oh, well, yeah, I think that's that one. It's the top one. I'm skipping through. Ashton's waiting.
Is it the case?
Ashton shows up.
Were you able to smooth things out with the chief and Inspector Abigail?
See where we are in the branching tree here. Alright, we weren't able to do that. We're at that. Looks like we are here. We're going down this time.
Yeah, they let me back in. A few hours after another sermon, though. But it's not that.
He stalls several seconds, too long for comfort. Minutes later, he takes a step back, stuffs both hands to his pockets before looking away. It's like he doesn't want to be here. His posture on its own screams his complete reluctance to be the one delivering whatever this is. Is there anything worse than the one we got last time? Or is the one we saw? Somehow part of me no longer wants to hear him out. If this will only be another unpleasant
Actually,
news.
it's... LPD's been in contact with the embassy and her family back home.
Oh, how did they take it?
As one would expect, her mom was in shock, of course. The eldest guy I talked to, the one she complains about a lot, I kinda see why. He threatened to kill me if he found out I'm lying. Swore he'd take the first flight here. As if you could lie about something like that.
And her dad? Does he know?
No, I think they're putting it off until he's well enough to take the news. They're already making arrangements with the embassy now. Her aunt's helping out as much as she can, but there's only so much she can do.
You should have said a word. Is there something we could help with then?
That's why I'm here, actually. They called this afternoon. Asked if we could pack some of her things tomorrow. For shipment. Back home.
Silence descends between us as the gravity of his words sink in. Gut punch, if anything. Suddenly it's all moving too fast. We haven't even come to terms with it yet, and the world is already asking for more.
Tomorrow? Isn't that a little...
Abrupt? Hasty? The right words won't take form. What right do we have to protest in the first place? Do we even get a say in this? We're just her friends, people she met because she happened to end up here. We have no right to hold on to her when her family, people of her own blood, is waiting. For her, they will always come first. But where does that leave us then?
And what about the case? Don't they want to know who did that to her? Are they just going to leave it like this?
I sure hope not. We can't just drop it. I can't let them. The bastard's still out there.
Then talk to them! You're part of the team investigating this, right? You should be able to reason with them, or Ashton, you have to try. You can't allow this to...
A genuine plea, yet under the weight of his gaze and every uncertainty behind them, the rest of it falls weakly off my lips, unspoken, fragile amidst the silence stretching suddenly out between us. In the middle of it, Ashton stands perfectly still for a handful of minutes. Whatever he thinks beyond the ones he allows me to hear, he keeps hidden, still unwilling, unready to let go of. When at last he finally decides to break the hush, he merely casts a glance back to the empty room beside us. Gone is that somber mood when he shifts. His casual, friendly air is back.
I'll see what I can do. I'll let you know. For tomorrow, I'll try to bring Zach for some extra help. He's been saying some weird stuff lately, but I'm sure he'll help out. See you, Becca. Good night.
Ashton squeezes my shoulder light as he can before stepping away and heading straight for the stairs. His way of offering comfort in the middle of this little mess we found ourselves in. But amidst all of this, a tiny voice at the back of my head nudges at a memory. Something I've forgotten and the very reason why I've chosen to return home early. He's made it 4 steps down when realization kicks in and awareness of the envelope I've been holding returns to me. Panic rears before proper words can form or I can think about the situation. Not a second sooner I'm calling after him.
Ashton, wait!
He halts, 1 foot down, already down another step when he turns to me, raising an eyebrow in question. And of all times, in this moment when I falter, that adrenaline from earlier panic suddenly recedes. All of a sudden, none of the things I prepared to say will take form, and I'm caught simply between forgetting about this or just blurting it out to him while hoping for the best. Should I even? Oh boy. I mean, I feel like I don't know what'll happen if I don't ask him, you know? Later in the future. What ends up happening. I don't know. You know, this seems like a crucial point to save it, actually. Forget about it. From the start, I already know what the answer will be. Why should I bother?
No, forget about it. Don't mind me.
It sounded important for a moment.
Even if I tell you, you would be interested.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Someone sent an invite for a housewarming party, and I was hoping you'd...
No. I'd rather stand on the messy end of a gunshot.
See? What did I tell you?
You know I hate...
Contrary to his words, however, he reaches out and takes the envelope out of my hands. He is silent for a handful of seconds, inspecting its crisp surface with the same blasé interest he had for schoolwork years ago.
I know. You don't have to tell me. I can just go alone.
Have you tried asking Zach? He'll be a better companion.
Despite how well-meaning the suggestion is, it annoys me to hear it directly from him. How I felt for him has always gone over his head for some ridiculous reason. Not that he is entirely to blame for it, part of it is mine. Maybe if I told him early on, he wouldn't have found someone else. Yeah, you don't say.
If Zachary's not busy, I'll ask him. Whatever. Just give that back. I'll figure it out on my own. You go ahead and do whatever plans you have for tonight.
He doesn't hand it back, though, even when I hold my hand out to him, expecting. His indifference has disappeared. Now he's glaring at the seal as if it's done him a whole world of wrong. Gently, he pries it open and quietly reads through its contents. I don't know what he finds in it, but his eyebrows draw together as his eyes scan through the little lines of text printed on a small piece of paper. His hold on it tightens with each pass, and by the time he's finished reading through it, his mouth is formed into a little thin line.
Ash?
How come you've never mentioned this before?
Well, obviously, I just got that last Tuesday.
Not the invitation. The one who sent this.
Who? Hannah Wright? She's an old family friend, Ash. Mom and Dad used to teach her. That was a long time ago. I don't even remember ever meeting the woman. Don't you think I would have mentioned her to you if I somehow made a friend like her?
Don't go to this party. Don't even invite Zach.
I can't do that. I already promised Mom. What's gotten into you?
A whole minute of silence passes, and enough time for him to answer, but he doesn't. He merely turns the invitation in his hands, his scowl growing deeper with every second slipping by. In the end, my own impatience and frustration wins out. We're back to this again, back to those wordless exchanges, filled with every single unuttered thing he refuses to share
Ashton,
with me.
it's just a party. If you don't want to join me, just say so. Don't ruin other people's plans.
He hums something unaudible under his breath, all while thumbing the paper, staring at it as if doing so will pro-offer him answers to every unspoken question in his head. When he gleans nothing from it, he merely phones the envelope back to its form.
I'll go with you.
What?
I'll go with you.
Alright, we're gonna skip through that. It's October 28th now. It's Friday. He'll go with us because it's the rights. And he's investigating them. And we took the top path. I'm not sure what would have happened had we taken the bottom path. But we are on the second path. The path we took at the beginning, if you see that white line all the way up at the top, it stretches pretty far without doing anything. Hold on. Come morning, there's only a hush, a strange sort of stillness unlike the ones greeting me every morn. This one's uneasy, tight with anticipation, like a string stretched thin, merely waiting for the proper time to snap. Granted, it doesn't make my day any less pleasant, but the edge is there. It hangs in the hallway, it lingers in Isabella's room, palpable the moment I open the door and walk in. The scent of disinfectant greets me upon crossing its threshold. The windows have been left wide open, but it doesn't do much to keep the sterile smell out. The walls and the floors have also been scrubbed clean of the blood after the police were done with it. Yet, even with all the efforts they've taken, the stench of death endures. But more than that is the sight of what it's left behind. Posters hanging on the wall, framed photos she keeps on her bedside. Stuffed toys she bought on whim before, the mess of cushions on one area of the room she promised to clean. She'd never be able to do that now. Even without her here, the room is so undoubtedly hers. Ashton and Zachary are already here, each of them having found a corner of the room to start their work. Scattered around them are a couple boxes, 6, 7. Most are still empty, merely waiting to be filled. It's a wonder if it'll be enough to fit all 5 years' worth of memories there. Knowing Isabella, she won't be willing to leave any of these behind. There's no lively chatter, no friendly banter to greet me here. Only a thick silence hanging between the three of us. And despite my resolve, I still end up hanging around the door, unsure. From the looks of it, the two of them alone can already handle this, but still I want to help. Even if doing this has a ring of finality in it. Assist Ash, assist Zach. Wow. Who do I go with? I haven't done much with Zach at all this whole time. I think I'm gonna keep it that way. I think I'm gonna assist Ash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ashton does not look up from his work when I approach. He is, however, considerate enough to make room for me in what little space he's made for himself amidst the room's mess. In the little time he's been here, he's made much progress cleaning up the corner of the room he's picked. 2 boxes have already been filled, taped, and set aside. Now he's already working through the photos he's taped on Isabella's fridge, carefully putting them all in a neat stack beside him. With nothing else to say, not even a clipped greeting, we simply lapse into silence. Working diligently through the clutter of papers and books around us, sorting everything into the boxes. The pile will immediately be sent to her family. It's important. A collection of postcards goes in this other box for shipment at a later date. Her younger siblings will love it. Only a few soft grunts and hums are exchanged between us until the minutes blur and we found our rhythm. One that's only broken when Ashton chuckles, an odd thing to hear in the heavy silence of the room, and it prompts me to look up from my own work, puzzled. He's staring at one of the remaining photos still fixed to the fridge door. Moments after a bit of his amusement has died down, he reaches for it. Wow. It's an old photo of the 4 of us. Man. Hits you right in the feels. Taken a few years ago, about 2 or 3 probably, I can't remember now. Isabella has always been the one to remember these sort of things, although at the moment the picture isn't the most flattering thing to look at, after she drew over Ashton's face. None of it seems to bother him though. In fact, with the manner he's staring at it, it's as if he's holding the most precious thing in his hands right now. Tender smiles on his lips, and for the first time in days, his eyes are bright with something close to fondness.
Really, scaredy cat? A mustache? I expect more from you than that.
She was such a child sometimes.
Worse, she's clumsy, a scatterbrain, and a crybaby. Honestly, she barged into our lives with all the subtlety of a bulldozer. The way who does that?
Sounds like a complaint on all fronts. There's not even a hint of humor in it. Wherever I look at it, and I'm inclined to think he really means all of it. But this is Ashton. Sometimes, despite what he says, his words carry a completely different meaning beyond what he chooses to convey. It's all a matter of looking beyond it, past unnecessary criticisms and blunt declarations. Holy crap, I'm already on 10 save pages. Oh, and this is... I'm pretty sure this is the, one of these is the Zach where Hannah's a good... I don't know. But I think I might write over that. I'm probably gonna write over that at some point. I don't think I need it. You're being rude, Ash. I can hear butt.
I can hear a butt in there.
Alright, that took me to the right path. At my words, he stiffens like a child who has been caught in the middle of his lie, but the unspoken question in it has struck true. Little by little, his posture eases, a gentle expression spreads over his features as his thumb moves over her face in the picture. All a memory now. Though, even before he answers, even without his eyes trained on me, I already know.
But it's people like her that you don't forget.
It's the little things they say, the small sighs, the quiet proclamations, and the hushed gestures that roar louder than any. It's in the way he looks at her, smiles at her, and speaks of her, in the manner the sharp edges of his features softens at mere the thought of her. Grief underlies it all, the yearning, but in that one fleeting second, this is the one truth he will hold against the world. He loves all of her. Despite the hollow ache in my heart, only a hum of agreement makes its way to my throat. In acceptance, this will always be a part of him. She will always be a part of him in the same way her presence has wormed its way into Zachary's life and mine. If he never wishes to part with this, I won't blame him. That sentiment goes for all of us.
Do you think she'd be okay with it if I keep this one?
Yes, I do.
Out of everything, you want a photo where she doodled on your face?
Nah, it was a pretty shit British accent, man. It sucked.
What's wrong with it? I think it looks very tasteful. 11 out of 10. I'd even put it on Shirley's dashboard.
Belle would say your taste sucks.
She'd say more than that. She'd probably call me an ashhole while she's at it.
Ashhole.
You know she didn't mean that.
For a long moment, he is quiet, as if he's weighing his next words. Outside, a soft breeze rustles the few trees within the vicinity, and the gentle tweets of the birds have begun to blend in with the distant noises of the city. The world is waking. Along with it, Ashton releases a sigh, softly under his breath, but weighted with all he's hanging on to.
She never did.
Then, gently, he sets his photo on a nearby table, separate from the stack on his left, right, beside a small Lucky Charm. A light draft blows from the open windows, sending some of the papers around us aflutter. With the lone photograph on the table, the one that remains, another memory to keep. However, today isn't the time for those. No further words are exchanged after that, and perhaps it is for the better. We manage to pack most of Isabella's belongings by the time all of us have to leave for work, but at the threshold we all hesitate. A heavy air hangs around us. In consequence of knowing that this might be the last time we will be doing something for her. Of course, none of us mentions it, even if the meaning's all too clear in our heads. This is a goodbye, if anything. The world outside waits, and we can't stay here. So with a last glance, we leave all of it behind. At least tonight, I'll have something to look forward to. Something to help take my mind off things. And if any of my hunches are correct, where this all started will provide the answers I'm looking for. Dots. Except the whole thing's off to a bad start, and all of a sudden, whatever Isabella claimed dwelling in this mansion becomes the least of my concerns. Oh dear. Oh, and oh crap, we skipped a lot. We are here. And then it seems like there's a lot of skipping again. So, I might be able to... Yeah, you know what? We're gonna finish the rest of this. The rest of Rebecca's chapter. Severely underdressed is a total understatement to describe how I look. Cars worth more than my own apartment and childhood home combined line the mansion's front yard. Men and women decked out in their best also flock near the entrance. Most are eager for the festivities to start, while some are simply idling about enjoying the warm afternoon sun before it sets. But once the woman standing at the front porch speaks, their undivided attention immediately shifts to her. Presumably Mrs. Wright, from the confident manner she holds herself among present company. This, despite keeping a far simpler appearance than the rest of her own guests, or not having her husband beside her. A trait worthy of utmost admiration at best. At worst, she's the envy of every woman, the subject of every gossip in Luxport.
Welcome everyone!
And Mum said we could have been good friends? I can't even picture myself mingling with this kind of guest she has. Although, I admit, she does seem familiar, now that I've seen her this close. Memories of sitting in a vanity, not mine, being dressed in clothes too fancy for my taste. They flit briefly in my mind, until her cheerful tone rises above the buzz of her enraptured audience again.
Please, make yourselves at home.
I wish I can share her enthusiasm, really. But being surrounded by all this extravagance, for the lack of a better term, merely makes me dread how the rest of this night may go. Also, there might be some truth to what lies inside the place, helps drive the unease further by a notch, and we're gonna try skipping through. She's here with Ash. Ash goes off investigating crap, because that's why he's there. But his reason's clear to me now. Still, the heat of a blush accrues at my cheeks, denial already, despite wanting it to happen so badly myself. Here they're talking about her crush on Ash, when Hannah points out that if she wore better clothes, he might see her or notice her.
What? No, that's ridiculous. He isn't my boyfriend.
Such a violent reaction. A simple no would have sufficed.
Skipping past. Only if those that aren't of his own escapes him.
Again. Aaron, Alan, Adele, Albert, Alexander.
Skipping past. No wonder I lost him to someone else long before my own feelings are known. And then, I go and act as if I'm entitled to any of it. That, by virtue of us growing up together, he must return whatever I felt for him. That he's not allowed to look at another because I'm the one who stayed by his side at the longest, when in the first place Ashton has always been his own person. This is something I cannot force on him. I can only hold on to these, take care of them, until the time comes I can confess it to him. Skipped through. And there is the drunk woman, Rochelle, claiming that she's pregnant with Luke's child. In a little while, security shows up escorting her out. Apparently she's the chief inspector's wife too. As if the whole thing can't get any more fucked up than it already is. Let's look at the branching tree here. Alright, and we are on the center path, not the top. Oh, we were on the bottom one last time. Yeah, we're pretty close to the end here. Center path. Center path looks like it skips a lot, actually. There's only a little thing up here. What a mess. But the damage has been done, and beyond the repercussions this will bring, I'm more worried about Hannah. Maybe Luke, too, in part. I've seen the man that hides behind his self-importance, and it's someone who cares for the person who stands beside him. No matter how questionable that is now. After all, no anger is worse than that of a scorned woman. He's lucky, though, that he is not to be the object of it anytime soon, that his wife loves him enough to not believe any of the woman's drunken prattles.
Take that troll up out of here immediately, and see to it that she isn't allowed to hear, or anywhere we hold any authority in Luxbourne.
I believe this is the route because Hannah... If Hannah had been brutally murdered, we would have taken the top route, but because Hannah is still alive and is going to be possessed, she took the middle route. Hannah's outrage is a strange sight to witness after the smiles and the grace she has carried herself through the entirety of the party. Like this, her eyes burning bright with fury, I don't doubt she can do much more, ruin the scandalous woman if need be. Shaming her is already an act of mercy, generous enough coming from her.
Everyone, please go back to enjoying the party. Don't let that mess of a woman ruin your night.
You heard her! Strike up the band, maestro, and let us dance like fireflies in the night!
Fireflies in the night? Oh! Yet when she turns to Luke, eyes gleaming of hope, something feels off. Something I can't quite place. Hers is not the face of a person who so ardently loves. There's a lack of tenderness in it, and an absence of warmth and sincere affection. It's the kind that constricts, suffocates.
Well, that was a mess, wasn't it? And you handled it magnificently.
It happens. We are very important people, are we not?
No one seems to have noticed it, however, and at their commands, music resumes. There's a brief lull, a reluctant pause before the place comes astir again, but surely the buzz returns to the room. Dancers have once again taken to the floor, and their guests' excited chatter begins anew. Maybe it's just my imagination.
Lady, would you like to dance?
With pleasure, my prince.
The unsettling feeling in my stomach remains, however, even as the strained atmosphere dissolves into merriment. Even as I watch the couple lose themselves in the moment, where the people around them join them in it. It grips me all the more when I leave the hall. The last glimpse I catch of Hannah is her smile. A thin, unearthly one is spreading across her soft features. The porter closes the door behind me with a soft click, but all I hear from it are the chilling whispers, those that seem to echo along with another familiar grin in my mind. Help me. The brush of fresh air against my cheeks is little to dampen the nervous edge of my bones. Away from the rush of the party, I just feel bone-tired. It's late, I've accomplished nothing of what I came here for, and Ashton is nowhere to be found. I'm not sure what pisses me off more, that he ignored me the whole evening and might have just left without saying anything, or knowing that he obviously has some other motive for being here. Can't he at least trust his own friends for that?
You didn't have to lie to me.
He's not even answering his phone. That man always has been so difficult to contact when he's out. But do you think that he'd at least have the decency and the lines to keep open if he's going to wander off on a party? Once that happened to attend with his friends at last. One that he happened to attend with his friends at that. I let the call ring for 9 more times before cutting off. No use in trying to find someone that refuses to be found. So I can get home on my own. I don't need him.
Becca, where'd you go off to? If we're done here, let's go.
My mistake, the second his voice cuts to the crisp night, is that I've allowed the annoyance to get the better of me. Fuming, patience forgotten, we roll around and march towards him. One accusation, but another piles up at the tip of my tongue, ready to be hurled at the moment. There's no hesitation holding me back when I fling it at him. The straight face he keeps as I do so doesn't help temper my anger either. It only makes me want to slap some more sense into him.
Shouldn't I be the one asking you?
Skipping past this. Alright. And... oh, we're here again.
Care to explain your reasons?
For a fleeting moment, something akin to hurt darts across his features. Oh. Okay, we're skipping through that. This again, is this about the letter thing again? It's been a week, Becca.
I thought we already agreed that was a dumb Halloween prank. No need to bring in the old guy.
Alright, we're real close to the end here. Of course he's still skeptical. It makes one wonder if he's even seeing anything at all. Figures his curse will stay away from the scoffer. Skipping past that, talking to Professor Andrew.
Why, just this past week. I've got a few asking me about that. Imagine that.
Hold on, didn't, who was Chapter 4? Chapter 4 was... I know it's Isabella, I think we met with him. Marianne might have too.
I think enamored might be a little too much to describe our interest in it, but I have to agree. The mansion is beautiful, even...
Skipping past that. Alright. Yeah, so now we're nearing the end of this path. Question, we might take the other path here. Actually, I think we will. We chose head for the door last time. We're gonna choose head upstairs this time. If Isabella were still with us, what would she say? Would she blame us for not listening? That it cost us a life, her life, for any of us to begin heeding any of it? Basically, Professor Andrew told us that there's stuff in the library that's locked away and we could take his credentials to get to the restricted section or whatever to learn more about the mansion. Ermengarde. It all stems from the one moment in the movie house, doesn't it? We could have avoided this had we only taken our warnings to heart. One stupid mistake is all it took to send our normal lives on a downward spiral. Frankly, I'm no longer sure if I'm angry at myself for it or at the universe for throwing us into this mess. But we can only make do of what little we have, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Going here might not be the right decision, but it's a start. Good start. Doesn't take much time for me to find what I need. A microfiche of old newspapers, long kept in special storage cabinets at the far end of the restricted section. Can I even kill her off? I mean, the top route I didn't kill her off, but I want to kill her off. I mean, that's kind of mean, but... the year is 1620s and beyond. Before the city of Luxborn even exists in the records, when the mansion has just been built, and Anselm is nothing more but a small, sleepy hamlet near a river. A lot of pieces are missing days, sometimes several consecutive weeks, without any records remaining. Often it goes on for years. Troublesome, but as it is, I'm lucky enough to find anything at all, considering how far I am looking back. Can't be picky now. Can't waste time mulling over what record keepers of the old could have done to make this a breeze for me.
I can still work with this.
The faint whir of the microfiche machine keeps me company as I go over each slide, each image, hoping for something that goes beyond what the local lore knows. There are snippets, little mentions of the family that once settled in the house here and there. The usual singing of praises for the couple who helped brought up what was once a tiny settlement into a buzzing town. Nothing substantial, nothing I didn't know before. It continues on for this like a good while, until I come by the years after their deaths. The people of Anselm might have loved Lord William and Lady Elizabeth Ermengarde more in their passing and held them in high esteem in the years after, but it was their daughter that was remembered fondly by the townspeople. If her parents built this town, Lady Charlotte was the one who made it prosper. Charlotte. I've heard that name multiple places before. Remarkable, considering it was a period of recovery from a bout of plague that killed half the town's population, including her parents. It's surprising, though. Apparently, her time also marked more than superficial changes to this place. She moved things, changed laws, altered old customs and traditions. If they were done on a woman's whimsy, it doesn't say, but she seems capable enough for more than that. The gist of it is, this town she rebuilt, it's what eventually grew to become Luxborn City, while the nearby Anselm village remained as it was, a relic of the old. Frown swiftly forms on my face.
So, why is there a need to hide this?
One by one I tried to recall every lesson I've gone through, every book, paper, and journal I've read. None of those ever mention this. It's always the lord and the lady of the house, their endearing child, always an afterthought to those anecdotes, the one who always took her life in the end. Never someone who restored a town from brink of collapse, nor brought new ideas to it. Is it because she's a woman?
That pisses me off.
Granted, not everything is sunshine and rainbows, not all aspects of her can be considered admirable. But this is history, some parts are bound to naturally delve into unpleasant territory whether I like it or not. Witch hunts, for example, become common near the end of her life. which would have been completely unremarkable and might have gone to a mere footnote in history if only it didn't involve Lady Charlotte and the very slave she saved. It caused quite a stir, enough to leave almost a week's worth of clippings. The girl was eventually burned, condemned by an entire town, at the word of Lady Charlotte alone. But this doesn't really have anything to do with the curse, does it? Unless that woman following us and this slave are the same person. Tale of revenge? How cliché. However, with a lack of accurate photographs, it's impossible to tell. Maybe if I squint, the illustration would start resembling her? But in my field, it doesn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way. I'll be the laughingstock of the community.
This isn't going anywhere.
Mentally exhausted, I take a careful step away from the screen, pressing a palm to my tired eyes. The lack of an ample light in this area doesn't help. A headache already threatens to form at the back of my head, yet I'm nowhere near figuring things out. This is simply too much to take in all at once. Shout out, by the way, quick to my 9 viewers: Damu351, Dolphins, Fegwent, Komanuma, Miroki, Miwako Hanamoto, Soli121, Zinzardarian. Thanks for coming in and watching, guys. Hope you're enjoying.
I should have asked for someone's help.
Now I'm at a dead end. I start gathering everything around me and placing them back in their respective envelopes for storage. The motion's no longer new after volunteering here a number of times. And if you want to put in chat where you found this stream, if you're just searching on Twitch randomly and came across it, or if you found it from any of the servers I posted it in, just feel free to let me know. I didn't make much mess anyway, considering the lack of materials available to begin with. I'll have to look somewhere else. The where remains unknown though, but just as I'm about to slip the last of the slides in, something catches my attention. My hand pauses, the microfiche halfway through its protective sleeve. This is one of the few I've set aside without taking a careful look at. It seems like a gossip column at first glance, but upon closer look, I slide it back to the reader, gently turning the dials in search of the page. It takes some time, but once the image becomes clearer, they must have had this drawing commissioned for this announcement. I don't doubt it. The details in here are far more intricate, their likeness closer likely to how they might have appeared at the time. They're both recognizable this way, closer to the paintings I've seen in the mansion. However, it's the man standing beside her, Edouard Godfrey, according to this article that caught my attention previously. Her first cousin and eventually her fiancé. Maybe it's the posture or the manner in which he holds himself. Or maybe it's the shape of his eyes, though I can't be too certain about that until I've gotten a better reference. Nevertheless, there is a resemblance. He looks eerily like. My head slaps up, glaring whoever's running in the floor above. At any day, I'd march upstairs and reprimand whoever that is.
This is a library, for heaven's sake.
But now isn't the time. I've gotten what I need. Without wasting another minute, I hear the machine's print button for a copy of the page, while my other hand moves to print everything back into storage. A ragged exhale slips from me. Relief? Perhaps, or maybe this is already exhaustion, and shit's about to go down real fast right now. Regardless, soon I'm closing my eyes as I wait for the printer to finish, if only to stave off the headache building from everything. Oh, when I first heard this was creepy. Thank you for the feedback, man. I appreciate it. I tried to be thorough and read everything. And it's a really good game. I'm expecting that when people find out about it, it's gonna be well sold on Steam. Despite my doubts about this, despite all the tension on my shoulders, this may be a small find, but at least I can start somewhere. And, oh, if you thought that was creepy, just wait till you hear this. We can start somewhere. There's a way out of this. I know it. The printer sputters to a halt. However, its sound isn't what makes me snap my eyes open. If you want creepy, listen to this. God. Oh God. Chills. My eyes are watering up from that. A feeling, a chilly brush of air behind my back, brief enough for something sickening to suddenly lodge itself in my throat while I take in my surroundings. It's that suffocating sensation again, creeping to every part of me, crawling under my skin, draining me little by little of any strength from that day in the mansion, from that brief moment at the school. Without delay, I grab the papers and make a quick beeline for the door. My whole body freezes. I hold my breath, not daring to make any noise. For a little while, only the sound of papers crumpling under my grasp filled the room. The excitement from earlier gone instantly, replaced by a cold, seeping dread spreading throughout my limbs. But more than the fear is the anger. It pains me to hear her using my own student's voice against me, and more than I once believed it was really her. She has no right.
Why don't you play with me?
Although she hasn't made a move, if there isn't a wall behind me, I'll probably take a step backward. Anything to put a distance between us, no matter how small, as long as I'm out of her reach. But I steel myself, because if I do fall back, turn away from her, I'll be left with no way out. I'm not dying here.
You think you scared me?
Except you're dying here.
Don't be so rude. I'm waiting.
I'm not afraid of you, you spook. This is one Scotswoman. You aren't getting into an early grave without a fight.
Oh boy.
Come at me.
I expect she'll lunge, proving to me what a monster she is. Instead, all she gives is a smile, twisted and gnarled. Sass times has crawled to a stop at the sight of it. Split-second decision. Before I know it, my body shifts, eyes closing in anticipation, hand grabbing whatever solid enough on the nearby table and hurling it at her. I don't bother looking if whatever I threw hit its mark. I run, as fast as my legs can carry me, despite my heart threatening to burst out of my chest. But in this maze of bookshelves with the whole place almost devoid of people, is there even a place safe enough I can escape to? You always head for the door. You never head upstairs because you get trapped if you go upstairs. But that being said, I head for the door last time and I lived. So, I'm so sorry, Rebecca. You're going to die. Head upstairs. There are people upstairs, aren't there? The weekend staff or some volunteer? No, there's nobody upstairs. You're gonna die, but okay. There should be. Even if it's Sunday, I'm only here on a special permit. There should be at least one other person manning this place. I heard them a while ago. Of course, I couldn't possibly tell them about this. They won't believe me in the same manner. We didn't buy Isabella's stories until it's too late. But I can easily come up with excuses. For now, what's important is I don't end up trapped and alone with her.
Safety in numbers, as they say.
There's no hesitation as my steps as I race upstairs, ears straining for any signs or sounds of the woman appearing, jumping at me again at any second. I can still hear her behind me, the grinding of her bones, her whispers as she keeps calling me back. Although it's distant, I don't slow my pace. Library rules be damned. Oh, the quick time event? Yeah, the QTE. That happens in the other part where you head for the door. I'm not sure if it'll happen here though, because no matter how much I pretend to be grave, the level-headed one or the tough one, this terrifies me. It scares me more than anything. This isn't how I plan to die, but when I get to the third floor, only silence welcomes me in an emptiness that stretches far too wide, spanning the entirety of the floor to be reassuring. Just behind me, somewhere at the foot of the stairs, panic rises up in my throat. No other way up but up. So I bolt, desperation kicking in without warning. I take 2 steps at a time, tripping clumsily over some of it in my last attempt to escape, but I know, at the back of my mind, I know all this is futile. With every footfall, every ragged breath, with every pounding of my heart, it gets hammered to my mind, and only becomes clearer to me once the door at the end opens, revealing the vast expanse of Luxport's early morning skyline, and with her treading at my heels, blocking my only way out. Oh my gosh. This... I didn't get the bad ending the first time. I didn't get the bad ending. Holy crap, it's because... It's Hannah. It's because she's possessed.
Hannah? Oh, Becky, sweetie.
Oh god, that
Why would
face.
you ever run away from me? The trek up here must be exhausting, isn't it? You poor, poor darling.
The voice is the same, even the looks, yet nothing about this Hannah screams of the Hannah I know. She exudes none of the sweetness or cordiality she always has with her, even when faced with people she barely knows. If I have not seen what I've seen, heard what I've heard this past week, I'd very likely brush this jarring disconnect to the odd weather. However, something's off with her, and my mind is screaming the space between us is best kept for now.
Why don't you come here, sweetie? Downstairs with me.
I can't.
Oh, why ever not?
Please, Hannah. Just leave.
You don't want to die?
Don't be such a spoil sport, honey.
Honey.
Don't you want to catch up? It's been years since we've seen each other, hasn't it? Don't you miss big sister Hannah?
Maybe some other time, Hannah. I'm here on important business.
Important business, she says.
Who's she on the phone with, though?
Little Becky all grown up. Now she's learning to meddle. Tell me, darling. What did the curious girl find out?
I don't think that's any of your business.
Oh, believe me, it is. It is now. Especially if it involves my darling prince.
She laughs, her features contorting into something horrid, close to grotesque. A twisted little thing completely removed from the person I've met not only a day ago. Becca, I think you're gonna jump off the roof. This isn't Hannah. She's gone, and this little fact causes me to take a wary step back. Since when? She appeared okay in the housewarming party. And as annoying and overbearing as I find her husband is, I feel sorry for the ballhead. He might be an asshole, but he doesn't deserve this. Hannah doesn't deserve
What's
this.
wrong, Becky? You look like you've seen a ghost.
I don't know, maybe because I have!
All I'm asking is what brought you here at this hour. Of course, if you didn't do anything wrong, we wouldn't be having this problem, yes.
Stay away from me!
A useless plea. Does she even understand a word I say? Can she even? Is she still human in the first place? Somehow, I doubt it. Because no human being will ever do
You and
this.
your friends have become such a nuisance to our lives. Even Zach, the pitiful bastard, and I trusted him.
What did you do to Zachary?
Oh, he's in a good place now.
Oh, yeah.
So do me a favor, sweetie, and come with me. I promise it'll be worth your while.
Simply imagining what she's capable of doing to us, I never want to give her that chance.
I'm telling you to back off!
How rude. I'm sure Mumsy Gales wouldn't be happy about that. Please be a good girl now.
Her gait is as slow as she walks forward, but with every inch she draws nearer, even as I pull away to take back what little distance I can between us. The smile on her merely goes wider, a mocking gesture. For me, she may be less of a human now, but I'm pretty sure she is fully aware she's got me cornered. She wouldn't even bother making it here if she isn't. And yeah, we're close. But I can't look away, I can't bring myself to, even as the heel of my shoe eventually hits the edge. End of the line, trapped, alone. So this is how it ends, huh? Quietly and without fanfare, surrounded by not a warm breeze but a chilly morning air. No soft footfalls on an empty hallway, but the din of the early morning traffic below. No warm afternoon light. Nothing but the cold, pungent smell of death, all underneath the dreary morning sky. How fitting. Yet, amidst all of it, there's a single voice I want to hear. Oh god. If only for the last time. Ash.
Becca?
Oh my gosh.
Hey, did I wake you up?
No, I left you a voicemail, so I thought, where are you?
The one I grew up with. Who always got grades better than I did without even trying. Whose silly antics I have to put up with all these years. Who stood by me even when things got tougher. That one person who's been a constant in my life.
Ash, do you remember that one time?
What?
Back in secondary. We joined a contest back then, didn't we? We had to dress you up as a girl and...
No.
What? You looked really pretty. I think I still have that picture somewhere.
Burn it. We're not talking about that again. You promised. Seriously, what brought this on?
Nothing. It's just the first thing I remembered.
You're being weird today, Becca. Whatever. Listen, I need you to go home right away. I'm at Salem Well right now and...
I wish time would simply stop for us. There are still a lot of things I want to say. Things I've never bothered saying out loud. Things I should have said a long time. To someone who has always been by my side. But in this moment, there's only one.
Thanks, Ash.
Oh, God.
Hold on, did I do something?
For everything.
Rebecca, what?
I'm so glad to have known you.
Wait, what are you? God damn it, Rebecca, where are you?
London Bridge is falling down,
Holy shit.
down,
Oh my God.
falling down. London
Oh.
Bridge is falling down, my fair lady.
Well, looks like that's that. Rebecca has moved on. At least she got to talk to Ash one last time. And it looks like that's the end of chapter 5, folks. It was nice. You guys could come out and watch this. Rebecca's chapter is done. Everybody's dead so far. Isabella, Zachary, Marianne, Rebecca. Hannah is possessed. And tomorrow we will go on to Ashton. I'm not sure what time I will be streaming. Most likely 8 o'clock again. Looking from 8 to 11, 8 to 11:30. Maybe the same time, getting through Ashton. So I should be back then, and we'll see if we can kill off Ashton too, although I really don't want to. But again, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. And, rest in peace. Ashton is tomorrow.